The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
A lot of beanie boppers on hand at Wrigley Field today, and the Cubs offense has been bopping away on the Houston Astros pitching staff. A chance today for the Cubs to really make it tough for the Astros as they try to claim another Central Division title. Their lead is only 2, and the Cubs are still alive in the postseason hunt as well. Cubs have wild card aspirations, but they've got to run the table to end the season, and they'll try to do it again today here on WGN Sports. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Joe Carter, Chip Carey. Welcome back to the ballpark, Joe. The Cubs continue to confound these Astros. All of a sudden, the Cubs have discovered the way to beat them here at Wrigley Field.
Well, and that the way is to go out there and score more runs. And right now, the Astros with pitching problems. Roy Oswalt going down with a groin injury once again. So now they seem a little bit vulnerable right now, and the Cubs are doing what they have to. It's that slim hope, but they're still holding on to hope that they have a chance for postseason play.
Dave Malicki was the victim in Game 3 of the series yesterday as Fred McGriff, Rondell White, and Todd Hundley all homered very early in the game.
Well, it was as easy as 1, 2, 3, and 3 straight pitches, 3 straight home runs. And, you know, I was talking to somebody earlier, and they were talking about you would never see that back in the old days. You know, 3 pitches, 3 home runs. By the time the third guy come up, he would probably be on the ground, but not the Cubs. And right now, with Wade Millen on the mound, giving up 30 home runs, might be a chance to see Sammy's 60th home run this afternoon.
And a chance for Jason Berretti to equal his career high in wins. He's got 11. His high is 12. And Jason was really disappointed with the way he threw the ball in Pittsburgh. He didn't have anything, and the Pirates beat the Cubs at PNC Park.
Well, those were games that the Cubs had to win. You got to go out there and get the teams that you're supposed to beat. And Berretti, only 2/3 of an inning, gave up all those runs. He's looking to rebound right now, and what better way to do that in a must-win situation for the Cubs.
Wade Miller's pitching for the Houston Astros. He's had a great year, 16-8. But as you mentioned, Joe, with Oswalt down, with Estacio down, with Carlos Hernandez down, they're really expecting big things out of Miller if they're going to advance far in the playoffs.
Well, he's their leader right now at 16-8. He leads the team in strikeouts, also home runs given up, 200 innings. So a lot of arm, a lot of strength in this young man's arm. But can he handle the pressure? We'll see.
Let's see if the Cubs can play the role of the spoiler before we conclude our season series with the Astros. Let's first enjoy our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Illinois Lottery, where players have more fun. Pepsi, the joy of Pepsi.
Another huge crowd through the turnstiles at Wrigley Field today, and our thanks to the good folks at Tie Incorporated for sponsoring Ivy Leaguer Beanie Buddy Day at Wrigley Field. Cloudless blue skies overhead, 63 degrees, winds out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour. You could not ask for more perfect late September weather here in Chicago. in what was originally scheduled to be the final date of the 2001 championship season. The Cubs battling these Houston Astros very, very tough on their home turf. Cubs could take 3 out of 4 against Houston, who leads St. Louis by only 2 games in the National League Central race. The Cardinals are playing the Pirates as we speak. Cubs need some help. They have to catch both the Cardinals and the Giants, and could have to pass perhaps these Houston Astros if they have any hopes of making the postseason. It's going to be very tough, Joe, but it is still possible with 7 games to play. Cubs are 5 out in the wild card.
Well, Chip, anything is possible, but like you say, you have to have some luck, because the St. Louis Cardinals, with the best home record in the National League with 26 games over 500, so they are doing what they have to do by winning at home, and if they win, you win. There's no way you can catch up.
Cardinals were victorious again yesterday. St. Louis beat the Pirates 2-0 as Matt Morris hit his career high 21 win mark. Fernando Vina hit a home run for the St. Louis Ball Club in their game today. Tony McKnight facing Woody Williams, who's been spectacular since coming over in the trade for Ray Lankford. A deal, Joe, that everyone thought was pretty much a capitulation by St. Louis. No one, I think, thought Woody Williams would pitch as well as he has for the Cardinals, but he's been great. The Cardinals hung in there, and here they are knocking at the door, not just of a playoff spot, but a Central Division title again.
Well, Chip, the one thing about Woody, I mean, he's a gamer. He will go out there and pitch under ideal circumstances or extreme circumstances, and he will keep his ball club in the ball game. He has done that. The only one downfall about Woody has been the home runs he will allow, but he's a gamer. He's a guy you want on the mound, and the Cardinals are glad they made the deal for Ray Lankford.
And the Astros aren't too happy, for what was once their strength is now their biggest question mark. The Astros have some real big pitching problems to address, but there's nothing wrong with their offensive attack. Craig Biggio, Jose Vizcaino, and Jeff Bagwell hit first, second, and third for them. Lance Berkman is in left. Richard Hidalgo in center. Vinny Casillas at third base. Darrell Ward gets the start in right field, so 3 left-handed bats for the Astros today. Brad Ausmus behind the plate, and Wade Miller pitches and hits ninth. The Cubs' Joy of Pepsi defensive lineup as Eric Young and Ricky Gutierrez up the middle. Ojeda and McGriff at the corner infield spots. Rondell White in left. Corey Patterson in center. Sammy Sosa is in right. And Todd Hundley is behind the plate. Milestone start for Jason Beret, Joe, for the 4th time in his career, a chance to win 12 games.
Well, it seems to elude him the last few years, but this is a guy the Cubs counted on heavily this year. He has come through in circumstances, but his last outing, Chip, one that he will like to forget very quickly.
2/3 of an inning against the Pirates. 5 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, and a home run. And he's looking for his first win this season against the Houston Ball Club. Biggio set to lead things off. 19 home runs and 65 batted in for the Astros second baseman. Houston wearing their unconventional Sunday tops. That garnet uniform with the white letters, black and gold piping. And all the kiddies happy at the ballpark today. Biggio pops it up. And it's ball 1, strike 1 to the Astros second baseman. Cubs have kept Biggio and Bagwell under wraps in this series. They're 2 for 21 combined. Boy, you do that, you should beat this Houston team. And the Cubs have so far taken 2 of 3 in the series.
Well, Biggio's a guy who loves to get dirty. He's always involved in things, but like you say, the Cubs have kept him off the base paths, kept that Houston lineup from scoring any runs. And it all starts really with this young man here in Biggio. Keep him off the base path, and all of a sudden Berkman and Bagwell come up with nobody on base, and solo home runs don't hurt you.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Biggio, an all-star behind the plate earlier in his career in Houston. Made the shift to second base, where he made the all-star team at that position as well. An amazing athlete, Craig Biggio. And down on strikes, 1 up, 1 down. 167 strikeouts for Beret in 175 innings. Boy, he has thrown the ball very well this year.
Well, the key to him is getting ahead, and he throws a great slider here Yeah, changes his arm angle just a little bit, and Biggio not really swinging the bat too well this series, and I think it's the effectiveness of the Cubs staff as to compared to the swinging of Biggio, but going down on strikes.
Vizcaino bats for the first time. He's at 269 on the year. Gotta wonder, Joe, about the psyche of this Houston team. For a while it looked like they were going to be invincible in the Central Division, but Oswalt got hurt, and they're saying he may not be ready to go until the second round of the playoffs, if then. Vizcaino is on his way to second, and he will slide in ahead of a relay throw. It's his 8th two-base hit of the year. Well, they don't really have a stopper now.
No, they don't. And one thing about the Astros, they were playing such great baseball since August the 1st. They went through a stretch where they won 26 out of 32 ball games and were just running away from the division. But all of a sudden, when you, as a player, you know you're going through those hot streaks, you know a cold streak will happen sooner or later, and you don't want it to happen at the end of the season. And that's what the Astros may be looking at right here. The injuries, and all of a sudden Bagwell, Biggio not hitting the way they had been hitting. You don't want to be like that come the end of the season.
Jeff Bagwell at 287, 38 home runs. He's also one base on balls away from becoming the first man in baseball history with 30 homers, 100 RBIs, 100 runs, and 100 walks in 6 straight years.
You talk about RBIs, and 705 for Sammy Sosa since 1997, and those are numbers you see after about 10 years in the big leagues, not 5.
Is it safe to say, Joe, you played, you would be able to answer this question much better than I, but is Sammy Sosa the best player in baseball right now?
Yeah, he's in the top 2. and from a standpoint of watching him play all the time, Sammy is one of the best ball players in the game right now, consistently day in and day out. I'd rank him right up there at the top.
That missed inside, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes to Bagwell, with Lance Berkman waiting on deck. I guess the only question mark would be defensively for Sosa. If you go with the 5 tools, I would say that probably his throwing arm is maybe not what it once was. But certainly you look at his batting average, his power numbers, his base running, everything else, he's at the top of his game, and that's history for Bagwell. 2 on with 1 man out. 100 walks for Bagwell on the year. He's the first man in baseball history. 30 homers, 100 runs, 100 walks, 100 RBIs, 6 straight years, and that's what makes him one of the elite players in the game.
Yes, he is. And you talk about Sammy Sosa, one of the things that Sammy has really improved on is his defense and charging the ball. And as you get older, you lose a little arm strength, but you make up for that in maturity and charging the ball, getting more of your body into the throw, and that's what Sammy has done. And you talk about the other ball players who I'd rank high on my list. I think one of the great players, the shortstop for the Texas Rangers, Alex Rodriguez. Man, 50 home runs. He's only, what, 20 years old, seems like?
Berkman looks inside, ball 1. Yeah, that's great debate.
Oh.
2 men that really have a great idea of the strike zone, and that's a trend for Sosa that's really improved over the last 3 seasons. His previous high in walks was 91 before this year, and he has flown by that with still 7 more games to play.
Well, for sluggers to go up there and have the patience that a Bagwell, a Barry Bonds, a Sammy Sosa, to McGuire, to walk that many times is really uncanny. I mean, I had 100 walks, but it took me 5 years to get there.
Well, you were a swinging slugger. You didn't like to take those walks. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, if you'd been looking when Mitch Williams was on the mound, you would have been hopping around first base, for crying out loud.
I wanted to take things into my own hand. I didn't trust those umpires, especially with 2 strikes on me.
Berkman ahead in the count. 2 balls and a strike. What a year he's had. He's a natural right-hand hitter, but does switch hit for Houston. 332 average, 33 home runs, and 121 batted in. A product of Rice University.
The Rice Owls. There is one good team with the name Owls.
There aren't many. You're right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him. There's the flash. Murray strikes out Berkman. 2 outs for Hidalgo.
Well, the pitch that's been his bread and butter, that Fosh changeup in between a split finger, because he really can't grip it like a split finger, but it has a downward motion, and he gets Lance Berkman swinging. It doesn't get easier with Richard Hidalgo.
44 home runs for Hidalgo last year, 18 this year, and 76 batted in.
Chip, you know, as a former player, I am amazed at the totals that the guys put up now as far as home runs. I mean, we're on the verge of seeing Barry Bonds break a record that basically only stood for 3 years with Mark McGwire. You know, you go back to Roger Maris' record, sitting in, what, 37 years before someone approached that and beat the record. But now, 44 home runs, 50 home runs, 55 home runs, 60 home runs.
Well, Phil Rogers in the Tribune, who's one of the best writers and one of the best baseball writers there is, puts it into perspective. Bonds, Gonzalez, Sosa, and A-Rod have already hit 50. Jim Thome and Sean Green need 2 apiece. That means there could be, and probably will be, 6 men this year with 50 home runs or more this season. That equals the grand total of 50 home run seasons hit between 1956 and 1994. And there are myriad reasons as to why that is the case. You can say ballparks, you can say the pitching's diluted, you can say the players were taking andro or they're physically enhanced in some way, legal or otherwise. But the bottom line for me is, I don't care if it's your 6-year-old throwing the baseball at you, you still got to hit it.
Well, no, you do have to swing the bat and you still have to put the ball in play. But one of the things that pitchers do not do, they do not pitch inside effectively. Take yesterday's game, 3 pitches, 3 home runs. There is no way, if you got a Bob Gibson or Steve Carlton or Don Drysdale on the mound back in the old days, after the 2nd home run, the next 2 or 3 guys were going down because they would knock you down. They would pitch inside. Pitchers don't do that now because the inside part of the play has been taken away by the umpires and it's been given back to the hitters.
How much of that is learned from college or from high school ballers? That's outside. Another walk to load up the bases for Vinny Castilla. And more specifically, the aluminum bat, in your opinion. Well,
the aluminum bat is really the main factor as to why these young guys, when they come to the big leagues, they are afraid to pitch inside. You make a good pitch in college, high school, fastball inside, and the guy hits it out of the ballpark by getting jammed. So now they come in with a good breaking ball because they have to trick these hitters with those aluminum bats. Aluminum bats, they talked about maybe putting them in the big leagues one day, but there is no way that could possibly happen. And that has been really one of the big things for pitchers coming up. They are afraid to pitch inside because of those aluminum bats.
And you better be careful if you come inside with Castilla up there. 23 home runs, bases full of Astros in the 1st, and he's out in front. No balls and a strike. Castilla signed with Houston on April 15th. That was a couple of days after Bill Miller got hurt on Mother's Day Sunday in St. Louis. Castilla had been cut free by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and wanted to play in Houston because they could give him a full-time job. The Cubs weren't prepared to do that. And of course, the critics will say, hey, why didn't the Cubs get this guy? Well, no one knew that Castilla would have this kind of season. Many felt that he was almost at the end of his career as poorly as he played in Tampa.
Well, one big difference there, American League team.
Little pop behind first. McGriff in foul ground. Might have a play. Can't come up. Shies away from the fence.
Well, Fred McGriff battling the sun, battling the foul grounds. And he takes a look and he kind of gives up. Still had about 2 or 3 more steps to get there. Ball up against the fence. Fred to go back. He'll take a look at that and says, you know what? I should have had that. I should have got over there quickly.
Boy, you hope that doesn't cost the Cubs. You give this guy a second chance. He often makes you pay dearly. 2 strikes, though, to Castilla. Bases loaded. Bouncing ball up the middle. Ricky Gloves flips to second. No harm done. Murray has the bases loaded against him, but the Astros leave them full. Here come the Cubs in the bottom of the first. Astros leave the bases loaded in the first. Here's a look at the Cubs starting lineup today for Don Baylor. The Joy of Pepsi lineup will start off with Eric Young, then Ricky Gutierrez and Sammy Sosa looking for home run number 60 today. Fred McGriff, Rondell White and Todd Hundley in the middle of the order. Corey Patterson gets a start. He's in center. Augie Ojeda in for Bill Miller at third base, and Jason Bure pitches and hits ninth. The Astros defense anchored by Jose Vizcaino at short, Craig Biggio at second, Bagwell at first, Castilla at third. Berkman, Hidalgo and Ward are in the outfield, and Brad Ausmus behind the plate to catch Wade Miller, who seeks win number 17 this year.
Now the big tall right-hander, real good sinking fastball, and that's going to be pivotal here with this tall grass at Wrigley. Curveball slider leads the team in strikeouts, but also with 30 home runs he has given up. So that sinker at times he elevates it, and once you elevate it, you're in trouble. That's why I'm looking for Sammy hit number 60 today.
Well, I hope you're right. Cubs are happy to see Miller. They haven't seen him since August 23rd of last year. That was a game down at Enron Field that was unbelievable. He gave up 12 runs without giving up a home run to the Cubs. And he slings that ball up there for ball one to Eric Young. Eric looking for his first base hit in 10 at-bats. Right back where it came from, and it ricochets off Miller. Infield hit for Young, and Houston cannot afford to lose another pitcher. That ball was scorched, and Miller is hurting.
And anytime you see a pitcher walk all the way back to second base, you know he got hit pretty good. And this Houston Astro ball club starting to wonder, are they snake bitten right now?
Well, if it got him anywhere, it looks like it got him on the glove hand. That's good news. You don't know how well he'll be able to grip a bat. But that thing caught a whole lot of flesh, and we heard it all the way upstairs.
Here. And he is in pain right now, but Eric Young leading things off with a bang. It looked like he got him right above the wrist.
If anything, maybe it caught him, Joe, on the backside of the glove and mashed one of the fingers inside the leather. As it sounded to me like it caught leather and hand, maybe a combination of both, but he really got hit very hard on that comebacker through the box.
Well, and as the ball carrying past Vinny Castilla between short and third, you can see taking a look at Wade Miller's fingers. It looks like the little pinky there, but it's not what the Astros wanted to see.
Rex Jones, the fine assistant trainer for the Astros, out to attend to Miller.
Oh, it's that fastball out over the plate, and Ewise slaps it right back up through the middle. You can see he had his glove hand turned inward.
And boy, he is lucky he was able to turn as much as he did, because if he doesn't, that thing's got a chance to hit him on the pitching hand. It's question time for Larry Dierker. Will this kid be able to pitch? Didn't hit him on the pitching hand. That's the good news. But the bad news is he may be defenseless if another ball comes back through the middle. Don't know if he can catch the ball. And you have to wonder about him being able to swing the bat, which is something else you have to do in this league as opposed to the much inferior American League where they have the designated hitter.
Well, if you want to call it pitcher swinging the bat, I mean, it's not going to take much to go up there and bunt 3 times.
Well, I just thought I'd poke you with that sharp stick here for a minute in the first inning. But look how quickly this ball gets back through the box. And why there are a lot of folks who think the baseball is alive, and why pitchers head there to own.
You know, I've seen it happen time and time again in '98. Sandy Alomar that played it, Mike Mussina took one right off the head. And I tell you what, that is not a pretty sight, but quick reflexes and the ball back to the box. You're only 60 feet 6 inches away at a ball when it's hit that is going well over 115, 125 miles per hour. So you can imagine the reflexes, time you have to react. It's not that much time.
They'll give him a couple tosses to see if Miller can continue. But in the big picture of things too, Joe, this is a real big problem for the Astros if he can't continue, or if it turns out to be a much more serious injury. Again, Pedro Stasio, they acquired him from Colorado. He's done for the year with a rotator cuff. Roy Oswalt popped his groin muscle, or at least re-injured his groin muscle, on a cold day here in Chicago. He's finished for the regular season, maybe even through the first round of the playoffs. Carlos Hernandez, another young left-handed pitcher, also is injured and can't come back. So even if Houston stays completely healthy the rest of the way and they make it, rather than having Stasio and Oswalt and Shane Reynolds as your top three, you're looking at Dave Malicki, Wade Miller, and Shane Reynolds as your top three. Three good pitchers, but certainly not their three best.
No, and you want to have your best out there, and it's good to see Wade Miller. He's going to stand there and test it out, and you would think a guy at 16-8, a big, strong right hander, he was going to guts it out and go back out there and pitch. Like you say, the thing is, it hit his glove hand, so it's not going to affect the throwing hand, but just how he feels the ball and how he holds the bat when he's bunting.
Good point. Here's Gutierrez with Young at first. Astros wanted to see if Ricky was thinking about an early bunt. He handles the bat better than just about any Cub offensive player, with 16 sacrifices this season. Cubs bunt the baseball a lot. That's been an instrumental part of this Don Baylor attack. The Cubs with 112 sacrifice bunts this year, far and away leads all of baseball.
Well, last year they had 115, so this is something that Don Baylor likes to do. He likes to score early, because when you score early, you put the pressure on the opposition.
And it's really funny. People say, why is Don Baylor bunting so much? He was a manager at Coors Field, and now he's playing in Wrigley Field. You'd think those are two offensive paradises. Coors Field is. This place, though, more often than not, the wind blows in. It's a very good pitcher's park. So those early runs are very important. And that one pounds Ricky as it bounces into foul territory.
A lot of guys getting hit here early at the park. The batted ball, and you see Ricky, he fouls off the plate, comes back up. Well, he gets him on the right arm. There's a right elbow, so Ricky grimacing in pain a little bit. But the reason why you bunt, because of the thick grass here, it keeps you out of a double play ball. And that's what happens a lot here, especially with a sinker ball pitcher. Easy double plays because the grass will eat up the ground balls.
Two-strike pitch. Ricky stays alive. 0-2. Everything in the American League has been settled at this point, for the most part. Yankees are going to win the East. In fact, they've already won it. Cleveland by 7.5 over Minnesota and the White Sox. That one's all but over. Seattle, with 110 wins, has won the AL West, with Oakland the American League wild card. Story in the National League much more muddled. Atlanta leads the Phillies by 2 games. Right now the Braves losing to the Mets 4-1 in the 6th. That game down at Turner Field. Mets are 5 games back, but they've lost their last 2 to the Braves. Those are heartbreaking losses for New York. Astros by 2 over the Cardinals. Arizona by 2 over the Giants. Off-speed pitch. Fooled Ricky, and that's out number 1. And here's Sammy Sosa chasing history this afternoon.
Right fielder, number 21, Sammy Sosa.
He's got 59, looking for number 60 to be the only player. That's a pretty good category, to be the only player. 3 years of 60 or more home runs.
The amazing thing about that is, assuming he hits 60 before the end of the year. First the pitch. Breaking ball, bounce to the shortstop. That's off Vizcaino and into center field. Young around second, on his way to third. They are going to hold him up. That'll be an error on Vizcaino. The ball ate him up. Sosa will hit 60 home runs 3 times, but not win the home run title.
And that right there is amazing. The year he hits 50, which was last year, he wins the home run title here. But right now, Jose Vizcaino just simply boots this ball. Sammy rolls it over, looked like a sure 6-4-3 double play, but hit off the heel of the glove of Jose Vizcaino, and all of a sudden what could have been an ending inning double play now is first and third action for the crime dog on the scene.
McGriff hits with men at the corners and only 1 man out. 11 home runs, 39 driven in for McGriff. He has given the Cubs exactly what they hoped he would since coming over from Tampa Bay. 10-game hitting streak for the Cub first baseman. You pencil him in with 25 to 35 home runs, 90 to 110 batted in for the Cubs next year. Along with Sosa, you're going to have as good a 3 or 4 combination in the National League.
Well, you know, having Fred come over at the time he did, it's a lot of pressure on a man to come over in the middle of a pennant race and look to be a savior on a ball club that was tough to score runs. And Fred went through that adjustment period. You give him a full year in a Cub uniform and he will construct some damage.
Ball 2 outside to McGriff. Now, after this series concludes, the Cubs will host the Reds and Pirates the final 6 games. Houston will go home to play the Giants. Then they have to go to St. Louis for the final 3 games of the year. The caveat is this. First the pitch. Swing and a rocket. Right center field. Can anybody get it? Hidalgo can't. But Ward did. What a catch. Tagging from third and scoring is Young. And just beating the relay throw back to first is Sosa. That could have been a double play, and it would have been close as to whether or not Young's run would have counted. Great baseball play in right by Ward to haul in that drive by McGriff.
Well, Hidalgo is batting the sun and he loses the ball, but Darrell Ward is right there, and Sammy, watching Hidalgo, thought about scoring once the ball was on the ground, but he just barely does beat it. You see Sammy, he's almost all the way to second base, having to hustle back. Yeah, Sammy pick it up, put it down.
Sac fly and an RBI as White skies this one into shallow right. Ward coming on, foul ground, runs out of room. But back to the final week of the season. While Houston plays the Giants, the Cardinals will be in Milwaukee. St. Louis has beaten the Brewers 8 of 11 times this season. And Milwaukee has a chance, Joe, to do something that's never been done before, I believe. And that is have more strikeouts than hits as a team.
Oh, and you look at their hitting coach, Rod Carew. I mean, I'm sure Rod is probably over there scratching his head, you know, wondering what is happening with the ball club. But one thing, when you have a team that strikes out a lot, what they don't do when they get 2 strikes, they don't cut their swings down. They're looking to go. I mean, you see the feast or famine for these guys, and they will have to learn. You got to cut your swing down with 2 strikes and put the ball in play in a lot of situations, and I'm sure Carew will try to explain that to them in better details next year.
In fact, Milwaukee's team has struck out more this year than Rod Carew did his entire career.
That is amazing.
And as a famous TV producer once said to me about that Milwaukee ball club, Tigers don't change their spots. Can't make those hitters be something they're not. 2 balls and a strike. Swing and a fly ball. Belted center field deep. Back goes Hidalgo. See you later. It's 3-0. Rondell White unloads his 17th home run. And the Vizcaino air is looking bigger and bigger.
Well, you know, they're jumping down the road in St. Louis land. And Rondell White continues his torrid hitting. A first-inning home run yesterday off Dave Malicki. And now he comes back and one-ups it one more as he takes Wade Miller, the 31st home run given up by Miller, a 2-run shot, and what could have been a 0-0 ball game going to the second inning is now a 3-0 Cub lead.
Todd Hundley hits with 2 men out. Again, it's the first inning for the Cubs against Houston. And boy, you're seeing why, if Rondell White is healthy, what he can do for your ball club. He's hit 17 home runs. He's driven in 49 men. And he's done all of that for the Cubs in only his 91st game. You add another 30, 35 games to White's totals, you're looking at 25 home runs, 75, 80 RBIs.
You know, Chip.
Hundley hits that ball hard, but into right center field, playable for Hidalgo. He's got room, and that retires the side. A very painful inning for Wade Miller. He gets hit on an infield comebacker from Eric Young, and then Rondell White smokes a 2-run shot to center, and the Cubs lead by 3 and try to spoil the party for the Astros today. Rondell White's helped the Cubs to a 3-run lead, and Darrell Ward jumps at the first pitch, and it's out of play. Strike one. A look at the White swing and the result.
Oh, a fastball right down the middle of the plate, and Rondell with those quick wrists. That bat action, wow. The telling tale there when the Cubbies scored first. 31 games over 500.
Ward breaks his bat. 1 out in the second inning for Houston. Cardinals lead the Pirates by 2. Cubs are 5 out in the wild card, 7 out in the division. Can't win the division for not enough time left for the Cubs to do that. Here's Ausmus looking for his first base hit of this series. He's hitting .230 on the campaign. Real unorthodox stance by Ausmus, wide open and in a crouch as a right-hand hitter. Watch him take his stance.
Well, he's in the crouch because that's the way he's used to performing.
Good point.
As a catcher, you see Hundley always crouching. These guys, they go to what's familiar.
But like so many guys in baseball now, Joe, that wide open batting stance to use both eyes instead of, in Ausmus's case, the left eye to see baseball.
Well, you know, that is true because a lot of times the dominant eye is usually your back eye. If you're right-handed, usually your dominant eye is your right eye.
Ausmus got jammed badly. 2 quick outs.
And another one of the reasons why you see a lot of guys open it up because they have trouble handling the inside pitch. And right there, Brad Ausmus, as Jason Beret got inside of him, and now Wade Miller with nobody on base. That means he has to swing the bat.
I'd be surprised if he takes much of a swing at all. It's the bottom hand, or the hand that grips the bat strongest, that Eric Young hit with that line drive through the box in the first inning. Miller hitting .180 on the year. Hey, pretty good cut. And that one caught in center field by Corey Patterson. Miller's hand must be feeling a little bit better. 3 up, 3 down, though, for the Astros in the second. They trail by 3 in Chicago. Field band, boy, what a great job they do entertaining the folks in the bleachers and beyond. Well, we appreciate all their hard work. Great guys, one and all, in that brass band. And the Cubs back to work with Corey Patterson here in our second inning. The only sad thing about late September and early October in this case is you got to say goodbye for the winter to so many friends that you've been with for the last 6-7 months, and Ted Butterman and the band certainly fall into that category.
Now, Chip, if if Ted was on the Titanic, would they still be playing as it was going down?
What a thought.
You know, I mean, they're always flat hit Wrigley, which is great.
No, wait a minute, man. To be honest, I've thought of some weird things. But that one, I can honestly say, I don't have any idea. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three to nothing. Cubs have the lead, and Corey lines it out of play, foul. Really kind of a paradoxical season for Corey Patterson. He's good enough to play in the major leagues, but not quite good enough to start every day with the Cubs fighting for a playoff position. But in a way, you have to wonder whether this year has helped him or hurt him.
Well, anytime you can come, oh, look out, someone got nailed. If you can come as a young player with a lot of potential and being a #1 draft pick, a lot of pressures on Corey Patterson. When you're picked to be the best baseball prospect in all of baseball, people expect a lot from you. And getting this first year up under the belt for Corey is going to help him next year, because now he can go through the offseason and realize what it is to play the big leagues for a lengthy period of time and have some kind of success.
But the question I have, though, is how much playing has he really done? This is his 54th game, Joe, and that was just his 111th at bat. He's been on mostly as a defensive specialist for the Cub team, and for a guy that really hasn't dominated offensively at AAA in the minor leagues, will not swinging the bat every day retard his progress at all?
Well, I think it will hinder him just a little bit, because he has not gotten the 600 or 700 plate appearances that he would normally have gotten had he played every single day in AAA. And guys will tell you, they say, do you want to go to AAA and play every day, or do you want to be in the big leagues and be a spot starter? And a lot of guys will be selfish enough to say, I want to be in the big leagues. Doesn't always help them.
Augie Ojeda pops up to Vizcaino. 2 men out.
But I think in the long run, I think Corey will learn a lot from these guys, and watching guys like Sammy Sosa perform, sit next to Billy Williams, listen to him talk. I mean, those are things that he could not pick up in AAA that may be helpful to him in the years to come.
Jason Beret bats, hitting 186 with a couple of runs batted in. Cubs now in front, 3-0. Pirates now leading the Cardinals. Aramis Ramirez continuing to have a spectacular season. McKnight against Williams at Busch Stadium. Hooray. Out of play, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Don't forget, friends, the Cubs convention will take place at the Chicago Hilton and Towers January 18th through the 20th next year. Reserve a room now for the Cubs convention weekend by calling 312-922-4400. Jason Beret will be there. So will Corey Patterson. Joe and I will join you then as well. We join you for our 3rd inning right after this. Along with the maven of moviedom, Joe Carter, Chip Carey with you as we head to our 3rd inning. Craig Biggio, Jose Vizcaino, and Jeff Bagwell coming up for the Astros. Houston with a narrow 2-game lead over the Cardinals. Seeing the Pirates try to help them out in St. Louis. Astros try to help themselves here today, though, with Biggio, a strikeout victim his first time up. So far, he and Bagwell have not been able to get on track in this series.
Yeah, one thing about Craig Biggio right now, Craig's got an awful long swing. And you normally see that short, compact swing where he's on the ball very quickly.
Chop toward 3rd. Augie in on the grass, sets, fires. And McGriff drops the ball. So Biggio reaches. Boy. That's got to be a throwing error on Ojeda, or will it be a drop on McGriff? I think it's going to be a drop on McGriff, so give him the error, not Ojeda.
Well, the ball didn't bounce, but Augie makes a good play here. And this is a ball where Fred thought it maybe was going to bounce. But here it just kind of clanks off the glove. It looks like it's going to be E3.
Yeah, it's not on Ojeda, it's on McGriff for a flat drop over there. So Vizcaino up. He doubled down the right field line with a lone Houston hit. 3-0 Cubs lead. Defensively, Joe, in fairness, the Cubs have had a few problems last 8 or 9 ball games.
Well, and it's taking a toll against them because anytime you give even a bad team 4 outs in the inning, you end up paying for it. You saw what happened back in the first when Vizcaino watched the routine double play ball that cost him 3 runs. Good teams will make you pay.
4 errors on McGriff since coming over from Tampa Bay. This is his 47th game on the year for Chicago. And you don't want to give these Astros, not with the big boys coming up, extra men on. No sign of a bunt. 2 balls and a strike. Vizcaino has bounced into 6 double plays this year. Again to first. Biggio, a perennial stolen base threat. That was before knee surgery. This year he's 6 out of 10 in stolen base attempts. He's got 364 stolen bases lifetime. Big lead, not going. Bunch shown and a ball taken low. 3 balls and a strike.
Chip, the art of the stolen base has really gone by the wayside because of all the home runs being hit the last 4, 5, 6 years in Major League Baseball. All of a sudden, where it used to be 118 stolen bases lead the league, now you're talking about 40 and 50 leading the league. So stolen bases are not what they used to be.
Ball 4 inside. 2 men are on, none are out, and Jeff Bagwell a chance to tie the game for Houston. Murray with 3 walks in the game already. That's not like him. And Todd Hundley out for a pep talk here in the Houston 3rd.
Well, he's already went through 39 pitches. Jason Beret has, an uncharacteristic getting behind the hitters, and he said, Chip, 3 walks, and anytime you have a leadoff error and a walk, you're asking for trouble. Because now you've got the big boys coming to the plate, and none bigger than Jeff Bagwell.
In the dirt low. 1 ball, no strikes. Bagwell, still a very young man. He's only 33 years old. He signed through the year 2006 with a team option for the 2007 campaign. Ground ball. They had him played perfectly. Young steps on the bag. Throws low to first. McGriff can't handle that one.
Well, Eric Young had plenty of time to get Jeff Bagwell. And this is just a situation where a hurried throw and McGriff couldn't dig it out. But you're right, Chip. Had Bagwell played perfectly, EY steps in the bag and makes a throw, but comes through it. And McGriff couldn't come up with it. This ball was right into the dirt. And Bagwell still had 2 or 3 steps to go.
Yeah, that one not McGriff's fault. Bad throw by Young puts him at the corners. 1 out for Berkman. The Cubs giving Houston all kinds of extra opportunities here. Let's hope the Astros don't cash them in. Way outside for a ball. Houston left the bases loaded in the first. They trail by 3, and one of their best RBI men is in the batter's box. Not only are the Astros hurting in the pitching staff, they're missing Moises Alou. He's got a calf problem. He's missed 4 or 5 games in a row now for the Houston team, and they could use his bat in the lineup pretty quickly. Figure he'll be ready for that Cardinals series, but now Houston getting hit by the injury wave at a real inopportune time. Over but low, ball 3. Another bad one would load them up for Hidalgo.
So far, with only 1 out, 1st and 3rd, the Cubs have given the Astros 4 outs already this inning.
Ground ball to second. Young drops that. Now has only 1 play. It's to first in time. That scores Biggio. Bagwell is safely in at second base. Give Berkman. We're assuming the RBI. But real sloppy defensive play by the Cubs in the 3rd costs a single run.
Boy, here Jason Beret does the pitching, gets the ball that he wants, the ground ball, but E-Y not able to come up with it. And man, still been thinking about the bad throw. The hitter before, but a double play ball gone away.
Leonard tries to steal 3rd. Bagwell makes it without an attempt. That's his 11th stolen base. And that wasn't even close. Nothing in 1 to Hidalgo. 1 ball, 1 strike. So 1 dropped ball at first, 1 low throw at first, 1 dropped double play ball at second. Results in a Houston run, and they've gotten that without benefit of a single hit.
Well, you're talking about a possibility of 7 outs. The Cubs, or the Astros, the Cubs have given the Astros a chance to really get 7 outs this inning because of the double play balls that was dropped, mishandled. The throw from Augie Ojeda to Fred McGriff that he could not corral.
1-2 pitch to Hidalgo. Chopped foul past 3rd.
The Cubs can get out of this inning only giving up 1 run. I mean, that is a victory within itself.
Physical errors are part of the game. The mental ones are the ones that make you upset.
As Yogi Berra said, 90% of this game is physical. The other half is mental.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Hidalgo. The man at 3rd, and inside out swing, fouls it out of play. Hidalgo, a product of the Astros Venezuelan Baseball Academy, and he has a chance to be terrific. He's a 26-year-old kid, signed as a non-drafted free agent 10 years ago. He burst on the scene last year with 44 home runs and 122 batted in. The 1-2 pitch to Hidalgo. Swinging bunt. Hundley pounces on that. Fires to first. McGriff handles this one cleanly. And that retires the side. 1 run. No hits. 1 error and 1 man left at the end of 2.5. It's the Cubs 3, Houston 1.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Cubs up 3-1, and shaking the head is Fred McGriff as the Cubs gave the Astros 6 outs, but luckily for the Cubs, only 1 run came in. So Cubs escaped with only giving up 1 run. I mean, that was Houdini-like against this Astros ball club.
We better get the Tom Amansky videos put in the VCRs or something before the final 6 games of the year, because defensively the Cubs have not been very crisp of late. But you're right, only cost 1 run. Cubs still have the lead at 3-1. And Eric Young digs in for our 3rd inning. Cardinals just tied the Pirates. It's 3-3 at the end of 4 innings in St. Louis. And Miller misses outside with ball 1. Pretty smart pitch by Miller. He said, I'm not going to let you hit the first one. About 2 feet outside. That one inside, and it's inside the bag down the left field line. He pitched against his defense that time. Hung a breaking ball, and Young into second on a leadoff double, his 42nd two-base hit of the year.
Well, Chip, you hit it right on the head when you said he pitched away from his defense. The defense has shifted towards right in the field for EY, and what does Miller do? He throws a hanging breaking ball inside. Vinny Castillo off the line, down the third base line, and Miller really a routine ground ball, but with the defense shifted towards shortstop, you're pitching against your defense. Not what you want. And you don't mind the curveball, but if you're going to throw a breaking ball, throw it on the outer half of the plate, not the inner half. A much easier pitch to pull, which Young did. Now the Astros think Ricky's going to bunt. He does. And it's foul for a strike. We owe you a station break. We'll take it now with the Cubs leading 3-1 here in the third. Let's pause for station identification.
This is WGN Superstation.
The foliage starting to change color. Fall is right around the corner.
Football season is booming.
Who cares about football, man? They're pennant races now. Of course, the postseason and World Series not far behind either. Bunted high off the plate.
That might get lost in the sun.
Bagwell got his man at first. Oh, how about the play by Biggio to go to the inside portion of the bag in foul ground to take that throw from Bagwell. Real good play over at first base.
Sammy Sosa.
When you bunt a ball off the plate as high as it bounced up, Bagwell almost losing it in the sun, but then he had to go to the foul side of the first base and make the catch and throw from Biggio, or to Biggio.
And here's the spot where having Fred McGriff forces Houston to pitch to Sosa. Runner at third, one out. And he takes that one over, but low, I guess. 1 ball, no strikes. Sammy reached on a Vizcaino error his first time up and scored on the Rondell White home run. 3-1 Cubs lead here in the third inning. Ball 2. Let's take a look at our Illinois Lottery fun fact. On this day in 1927, Babe Ruth hit 60 off Tom Zachary of the Washington Senators. That's not the senator that was elected, but the senator that pitched. There've been a few of those too. Jim Bunning comes to mind. 2 balls and a strike. I wonder if there'll ever be another team in Washington, D.C. Sosa sitting on 59 home runs. Outside corner, Anthony's 2-2.
He's sitting on 59, leading the majors, 148 RBIs. Let's get 149 right here.
Throw it right past him. Blazing fastball. Boy, how about the young right-hander Wade Miller? He said, here it is, Sammy, hit it if you can. Sammy couldn't, 2 down.
Well, you normally don't see too many fastballs out over the plate on the outside corner with 2 strikes. And Sammy, you recognize that pitch is usually going to be a slider, but you fool the guy by throwing the hard fastball. And when you throw the fastball 93, 94 miles an hour, you see the balls, they hit her away, you think slider, all of a sudden it has a little bit more zip.
So was that pitch so bad it was good?
That pitch was not bad. It was a good pitch. It was a great pitch in a great spot. Sammy may have been looking for the slider, and when you recognize outside, you normally think off-speed pitch. That's the point where you think off-speed, you think slow, you can't catch up to the fast stuff.
Breaking ball taken low by McGriff, but not by much. 2 balls, no strikes. McGriff a sacrifice fly and his 40th RBI as a Cub last time up.
If you combine McGriff's totals with Tampa Bay, 101 RBIs this season.
Popped up. High sky, Vizcaino and Berkman converge. It'll be Vizcaino at short. Cubs get a leadoff double and cannot score Eric Young. We go to the 4th inning where Vinny Castilla will lead things off for the Astros. Three-one after 3, Cubs leading the Astros, and Vinny Castilla is set to go for Houston. He bounced into a force play to end the Astros' first inning. And he pulls that pitch inside the bag fair down the left field line. Castilla will gallop around first. He'll head to second and slide in safely with a leadoff double. Well, courtesy of our cameraman Jimmy Tianis, Chip Carey, Joe Carter back at the ballpark. And you have a beanie buddy, I understand.
Well, I know. We talked about having a 3-man booth, and I think this guy may take over the job, huh?
Well, our thanks to the good folks at Tie Incorporated for the Beanie Buddy Day. All the kids having a great time as well. And a special product out as well in commemoration of the attack on our nation in September the 11th. Tie has also put out a special Beanie Baby called America, and they were kind enough to drop a few of those off as well. So our thanks to the good folks at Tie Inc. for a job well done. Darrell Ward dumps a base hit in left field, and just like that, Houston's down a run. A quick run on 2 straight hits on just 2 pitches in this 4th inning.
Well, this Houston ball club can strike like lightning. Castilla with the first pitch double, and then Darrell Ward just looping it over the head of the shortstop, and Castilla reading it all the way off the bat, off and running. Just like that, 3-2.
And nobody out for Brad Ausmus. Ausmus bounced out to third his first time up. Ward not blessed with great speed over there at first base, but man, that kid can hit. Wonder what he could do if he got 500 or 600 at bats in a single season, and that's what the Astros may find out as soon as next year. Moises Alou is a free agent to be, and many feel Houston won't be able to meet his salary demands, which, coming off another great year, could be $10 million or more per year.
You know, the big question is, will there be baseball next year? And because the agreement will be up after the World Series this year.
Popped up on the infield. Young flips the glasses down. That should be easy, and it is. 1 away.
It was not too much talking because of the gag order from Commissioner Bud Selig. Players Association and the owners getting together trying to hammer out a deal. And hopefully something will happen very quickly.
Well, you keep hearing whispers that there may be another year added on, that both the players and owners will extend their current labor contract 1 year. With what happened September 11th, you can certainly understand that that is a possibility. And if I were the players, you certainly were one. What's not to like from the standpoint of the players?
Well, it's, you know, you like the system the way it is, but I would like to see the agreement done. Don't put off the inevitable, what's going to happen. I mean, go out there and get the deal done. Sometimes you look back at what happened September 11th and you say, well, let's wait a year to let things die down, but things will never die down. This will be a good step for baseball if they go out there and say, look, let's put baseball in perspective. It's a little bit different than what happened September 11th. So this is just a game. Go out there, we can come to an agreement, make a deal. I think that would say much more for baseball than putting it off 1 year, because then you have the possibility of a strike and a labor lockout happening in the year 2002.
1 ball, 1 strike to Miller. He pushes the one foul. 1-2. But from the owner's standpoint, if the labor agreement as it stands now is so bad, why would you want to extend it another year? And even more so, you get the sense that every other sport, not sure if hockey does, maybe they will. I will plead ignorance as far as hockey is concerned, but football has one and the NBA has one, and that of course is the 4-letter word that the players don't want to hear, and that's salary cap. So that's where I think the impasse quite obviously is going to come. But I think it's really more of a matter of taste will people be soured on baseball if there isn't baseball next year, no matter how advantageous the system is for the players, and no matter how disadvantageous it is for the owners, and it's a disadvantage in fairness for the owners of their own making.
You know, I will go on record, Chip, and say if there's no baseball next year because of either a player strike or a lockout, that would be the downfall of baseball. I mean, it would be detrimental to baseball, to the fans, because it took a lot. It took a Sammy Sosa and a Mark McGwire to get these guys back in the ballpark in 1998. And baseball does not need to have that once again. You have A-Rod making $252 million, and now the bar has been set extremely high. Barry Bonds, he's a free agent. He's going to hit 70 plus home runs. Sean Green's near the 50 mark. Jim Thome. I mean, you have guys elevating their status, and all of a sudden, if one guy is making $252 million, what are the other guys going to want?
Biggio is 0 for 2, but he scored one of the 2 Houston runs. The Astros have cut the lead to 3-2 now. And hey, I don't blame the guys for asking, because time and time again, ownership has shown that they cannot stop themselves from spending whatever it takes to spend. However, it seems to me that the players want to have it both ways. They want to make the tremendous salaries, and they're entitled to do that. But if ownership decides as a group that, hey, we're not going to pay $10 million for players like player X, well, that's not fair. That's illegal. That's collusion.
That's collusion.
You know, I mean, come on. You can't. It can't work both ways, and it does work both ways, unfortunately, for the owners. But clearly, there is no easy solution to the ongoing labor situation for baseball. I hope the game is back next year. I hope it continues to grow. But it seems to me that the longer this situation festers, the more complex and complicated the solution is going to be, with teams in financial peril, cities that don't seem to want to support the game. We're seeing an offensive renaissance, maybe a golden era of offense in baseball, something that may not be seen for another 100 years in the history of the game. And you have to wonder if this is going to be it. Biggio with a base hit to right field. Ward's going to stop at second, and the Astros keep on coming with 2 outs now. First and second for Vizcaino, who's doubled and has walked today.
Well, the Astros have clawed back to a 3-2 deficit. First and second on with 2 outs here is Biggio. And it gets the ball rolling a little bit. And, you know, this Houston Astro ball club, Chip, coming down those last 3 games in St. Louis, the Cubs are going to be pulling for the Astros.
Line drive, that's a base hit to right field. They're going to wave Ward around. Sosa loads up. His throw to the plate is not in time. And taking second on the play is Vizcaino. Ward to third. Houston ties the game 3-3. Sammy had all the best of it. Matt Galante, oh boy, he rolled the dice and came up golden. Throws the surprise party, and Ward slides in the back door to tie the game at 3.
Well, Sammy didn't look like he got full extension on this throw. He had to hurry up with it. Get out to the right side of home plate, and Todd Hundley not able to gather it and get back to the left side of home plate quicker. But Darrell Ward slides in safely, and with 2 outs, you down by a run, you risk that chance. And it pays off for the Astros,
who now have Bagwell in the box with 2 more men in scoring position. 3-3 is the score. Slides out of the strike zone for ball 1. Cardinals have taken a 4-3 lead now over Pittsburgh. They head to the 5th inning in St. Louis. Ball 2. 2-0. Switch hitting Lance Berkman waits on deck. Houston 2 runs, 4 hits in the inning. 2 straight hits with 2 outs.
And you go back to that last inning where the Cubs gave the Astros 6 outs. And what you do is you turn the lineup over. So now guys like Bagwell, Biggio, and Berkman will come up 1 extra time because you gave them a free inning. And right there, Jason Barrett wanted to know where that fastball was at.
Julian Tavares limbers up in the Cub bullpen. And they green light Bagwell 3-0. We'll never know. 4 straight out of the zone. Murray walks his 4th man to load the bases for Lance Berkman. And the first visit of Oscar Acosta, the fine pitching coach of the Cubs, comes in the 4th inning.
But Chip, you're talking about would they green light Jeff Bagwell. Jeff Bagwell has the green light every time he steps to the plate, no matter what the count is, because he knows the strike zone. And you give certain guys that situation, they will look for one pitch. Bagwell didn't get it. Now the bases loaded, 2 outs as the Astros have clawed back to a 3-3 ball game. Thus can ill afford to lose any more ball games.
Yeah, if the Cardinals win today and the Cubs lose, the Cubs would be 8 games behind the Astros with only 6 to play. But even worse news, the Cubs would fall 6 games behind St. Louis with 6 to play in the wild card. So it pretty much is a simple scenario. You got to win out and hope somebody gets an 0 for 6 to end it, and maybe 2 teams, because you have to throw the Giants in there as well. 1 ball, no strikes to Berkman. He has struck out, grounded out, and has driven home 1 of the 3 Houston runs. No place to put him. Ball 2, 2-0. White Sox are winning in Kansas City 4-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees and Baltimore tied at 1 in the 7th. Cleveland all over Minnesota. 7-0. Jim Thome hit his 49th for the Indians today. Swing and a high fly ball straight away right. Sammy shields his eyes from the sun, and the Astros settle for 2 and the tie in the 4th. Second time today they've left the bases loaded, but heading to the bottom half. New life for Houston. 3-3 score. Astros with 3 unanswered runs have tied the game heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Rondell White, Todd Hundley, and Corey Patterson are coming up. Our final look at the Houston Astros this afternoon. Day of rest tomorrow, then 6 more in the championship schedule. The Cincinnati Reds will be here Tuesday night. And that guy must be a Yogi Berra fan. And that fan is right. It's not over yet. But the rotund opera singer might be starting her warm-up if Cubs drop this one today. There are good tickets available for next week's ball games. Come on out and see Ken Griffey Jr. Sammy Sosa take aim at the outfield fence here at Wrigley Field. Then 3 more with the Pirates next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So try to pay back the battling Buccos for a 2 out of 3 series loss in Pittsburgh. White drives that one to right center field. It's playable out there for Ward. Again in front of Hidalgo. He makes the play for out number 1. Hidalgo from Venezuela having a little trouble with the sunshine today. Go figure.
Well, with that sun beaming straight down, Hidalgo having to give way from Darrell Ward. And this is the easier play for the right fielder anyway. Glove hand side. He's going to his right away from the sun. So that's twice we've seen Hidalgo and Darrell Ward almost come to collisions out there. But Darrell said it's a very easy play.
Here's Todd Hundley. Hit the ball sharply his first time, but fly out to center. 1 out, bases cleared, and a strike. Big Cub fan. Todd Cryle watching us today, enjoying his recent retirement as president of Beacon Savings Bank after 40 years. Todd good buddies with our booth assistant, Eric Welch. Hope Eric got a favorable loan rate. Ball 1 downstairs to Hundley. And if you'd like to join us via the internet, our email address is cubstv@chicagosports.com. It will be a one-way conversation, as unfortunately the computer continues to be in the sick bay.
Chip, I am amazed. I mean, as good a person as you are and dealing with the computers, and how long you've been with Sony, what, 20, 30 years, and you know, you don't have your new Vio up yet.
Well, I was over at the store yesterday, found the make and model. Wouldn't you know it, it's out of stock. Well, Joe, it was such an emotional day I couldn't come to the ballpark.
And you didn't show up either. But mean, I think you got to head down there. Go ahead and get the upper class model there, Sony. You know,
just hand me a credit card. I'll be glad to.
Well,
2 balls, 2 strikes to Hundley. Strike 3 called. Change up. 5 strikeouts for Miller. 2 outs.
I'm sure all their advertisements, Sony won't mind. I mean, hey, be a good advertising gimmick, huh?
That's the pitch that Todd's got to figure out for next season. And it really started, Joe, the first series against Montreal. Remember, Ugueth Urbina threw Todd a 3-2 changeup. The first weekend of the year. The last pitch Todd would expect from the hard-throwing right-hander. And Urbina struck him out. He's been seeing a steady diet of that changeup, breaking ball menu in that batter's box.
Well, with all the advanced scouts and the great modern technology of television, everybody has access to every single game you play, and when you see somebody's weakness being exploited, they will continue to do it. And Todd Hundley, it took him a long time to make the adjustments from being behind the fastballs and ahead of the changeups.
Ground ball, Pat Patterson to short. Vizcaino got him by a step. And the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down in the 4th. We go to the 5th. Houston and the Cubs tied in the season finale between these Central Division rivals.
This portion of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
Well, if you kids in Skokie couldn't get to the ball game today, don't worry. Arnie Harris has you well taken care of on Beanie Buddy Day at the ballpark. Sellout crowd on hand for sparkling Sunday afternoon of baseball between the Cubs and the Astros. Hidalgo jumps on the first pitch and has a leadoff single in the 5th inning. 6 Houston hits, and that's your go-ahead run.
Well, the Astros bats have awakened. Last couple of innings, there was the giveaway inning in the 3rd inning where the Cubs only committed 1 error, but basically should have had no runs. They gave the Astros 6 outs. And since then, with 4 hits in the 4th and now leadoff single by Richard Hidalgo, Vinny Castillo steps up.
He's a notorious first pitch swinger, but he took that one high for a ball. Hidalgo leads at first, and the Cubs chase him back. Hidalgo only 5 stolen base attempts this season. This Houston team doesn't run a lot, not because they don't have good team speed. It's okay. But in the ballpark in which they play, why run yourself out of a 2-run home run all the time?
Why give up outs when you don't have to, and a fly ball will get you a home run very quickly? The old Errol Weaver school of baseball. 3-run home runs. That's what win your ball games, not stolen bases. Julian Tavares begins loosening up once again.
2 balls, no strikes to Castillo, who's doubled and scored already today. Swing and a line drive hit hard to left, but right at Rondell. He didn't miss that ball by much. Hidalgo back to first, 1 man down, and let's see if Beret got away with a mistake.
Well, Jason Beret got away with mistake here. Just a changeup up in the zone. And Vinny Castillo tomahawks it, gets on top of it and creates that top spin. And that's the only thing that kept the ball from going out of the ballpark. If he gets on this ball just a centimeter, that ball is probably up on the street somewhere.
Dropping the metric system on the viewing audience today. 1 on, 1 out for Ward. A 25-year-old sweet swinging left-hander. Last year for Houston, batted 264 times. He hit 20 home runs.
That is an amazing feat right there. 1 every 10 at bats. He was going deep. So you give him 600 plate appearances, 600 at bats. He's chasing Barry Bonds.
Man, no balls and a strike to Ward. Game tied at 3. One thing for Ward too, it's going to be a battle of the bulge for him for his entire career. He is a very stockily built young man.
He's built just like his father.
He went,
Gary Ward.
well, young Darryl went to the Duke weight loss clinic, try to get his conditioning up and his weight down. And the results speak for themselves. He's a very talented hitter who doesn't have a spot. And the best spot for him in the National League is probably going to be first base. But with Jeff Bagwell signed
for play there for
6 more years, he's not going to play first base.
See, that's what the
right
American
field
League
and center field are. I know where you're going.
You don't have those problems in the American League, Chip.
Well, he could play first base somewhere in the American League.
He can also DH in the American League.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You broadcasters. Well, speaking of the metric system, I wonder who that could be. I think Pete Tillman may know who that is. The lovely Cher from Toronto. Or, excuse me, Thunder Bay and her parents. So,
runner at first goes, swing and a miss. Hundley's throw to the third base side of the bag. It's a steal for Hidalgo. Ward strikes out. 2 away for Ausmus with the pitcher waiting next. And first base open. May want to consider walking the number 8 hitter here.
well, this should be a no-brainer. You got the pitcher coming up. Tie ball game 3-3. In a game that you can ill afford to lose. And they're going to put Brad Ausmus on and pitch to Wade Miller. Although Wade Miller swung the bat pretty good. When he tried to bunt, couldn't get the bunt down. So maybe the Cubs are playing right into his hand, make him swing the bat.
So Barret's going to walk his 5th man of the day. It's the first intentional walk for Jason. And Miller a chance to help himself. The Astro bullpen has been used a lot, so there's no chance they're going to bring Miller out of the game. Tied at 3. Put a good swing on the ball in the 2nd inning before flying out. Tried to bunt in the 4th and struck out. Miller hitting a somewhat respectable 180 or thereabouts for the Astros. Now see, this is where that National League strategy comes in. This is the American League. You have your DH up there.
Well, it depends on which side you're on. If you're on the offensive side, you're saying this is why I played in the American League. I don't think that was the pitch that Jason Barret wanted to throw right there to Wade Miller.
I don't think Miller wanted him to throw it either, to be honest with you.
Just kind of shaking him up a little bit, loosening him up.
And Astro at 1st and 2nd. And 2 men out. Lance Davis and Juan Cruz on Tuesday night. That'll be seen here in the Chicagoland area on WCIU beginning at 7 o'clock. Wednesday and Thursday afternoon on Fox Sports Net Chicago. Patterson played that ball well, and Miller flies to center to retire the side. Houston has left 9 men on base through 5 innings of offensive work, and we're still tied 3-3.
This copyright telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs are coming up in the bottom of the 5th inning of a tie game at 3 before Augie Ojeda leads things off. We'll take a train, step out for a moment, and let you know what's coming up later on WGN.
It's the search to find Mr. or Mrs. Right. The rules of dating have just changed. Eliminate, Monday at 2 Eastern on WGN Superstation.
Our upcoming schedule brought to you by the new Pepsi AC Chewable. Tuesday against the Reds on WCIU, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday against the Pirates on Fox Sports Net Chicago. Then the final 2 games of the regular season, Saturday and Sunday, the 6th and 7th of October, right here on WGN. Augie Ojeda leads off the Cubs 5th, and he takes strike 1. Bill Miller was originally in the lineup for Don Baylor today, but that left knee continues to be a little sore, so Augie Ojeda got the start today, and Miller's going to need that entire offseason to get that knee 100% for spring training.
I wonder if there's rain in the forecast. It get a little cold and start to rain a little bit. The knee starts to act up just a little bit, and Bill Miller taking the day off. The Chip, I've been here the whole year. I've got 3.5 games left. And I still don't have a foul ball. You told me I would get a foul ball.
I'm telling you, it's coming. Don't panic. I hope. 3 balls and a strike. You're a DH. You don't know how to field anyway. I don't want to see you embarrass yourself.
I was a DH my last year, and I didn't DH.
Well, they always remember you for what you did last, right?
Well, I played my last year. San Francisco.
You're next to last year.
Yeah, my next to last. Okay.
Full count 3-2. Bring the sunblock if you're coming to the ball game Wednesday and Thursday, we hope. And if you have tickets for the games that were postponed, just follow the day of the week to tell you what day your tickets are good for. You'll have the same seats. You'll have the same ticket privileges for those days. However, if you can't use them and want to trade them in, it has to be done at the box office in person before the makeup game is played. Otherwise, you're out of luck.
Just add 7 days to the date of your ticket. That'll get you in.
And if you went to Georgia, you probably need some more help. That's the number to call. 1-800-THE-CUBS to get the scoop on the ticket exchange/refund situation. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Augie, leading off the Cubs half of inning number 5. And he's aboard as Miller lost him. You figure Beret will do some bunting here. He's sacrificed 6 times this year.
Well, a good at bat by Augie Ojeda, and I've been impressed tremendously this year with Augie Ojeda. He's come in with some big hits, played some stellar defense, and when you can play second, third, and short, it gives Don Baylor an added weapon. All those times you got a double switch with the pitcher and the middle infielder, so Augie doing a great job.
Over but low to Beret. Gene Glenn gets the signal from the Cub bench. Relays the sign on to Jason Beret. Augie Ojeda takes a peek as well over at first. And back to work goes Beret. A bunt back to the mound. He'll look to second, but take the sure thing at first. Good sacrifice by Beret. Second Cub sacrifice of the day. That puts Ojeda in the scoring position for Eric Young. And before he tries to extend his perfect day, let's pause for station identification.
This is WGN Superstation.
Chip and Joe from Wrigley. Eric Young 2 for 2 with a run scored today. First hit, a very painful one for Miller. Comebacker that the young right-hander knocked down with the glove hand, but not before it stung what appeared to be the middle finger of that left hand.
Well, he threw him a fastball out of the plate. Eric slaps it back up the middle. Then he came to breaking ball inside. He slaps it down the third base line for a double. So we'll see where Mr. Miller tries to pitch. He wide this time. In the indication, he came with the breaking ball inside, and we talked about playing to your defense and pitching to your defense.
Bad news in St. Louis. Cardinals just got 3 more in the 6th against the Pirates. So it's 6-3 St. Louis heading to the 7th. So this game in Chicago taking on huge proportions for both of these teams, and especially Houston, who's trying to hang on and win their division. But even if they do win it, you've got to wonder how much octane is going to be left in the tank right now, for this ball club is really battered and bruised. Albert Pujols for the Cardinals earlier today hit a 2-run home run in the 1st inning. You got to figure he was in the middle of their latest uprising too.
But Chip, we talked about early in the season how important it would be to win in your own division. And playing each team 17 times, you take a look at the standings, Houston, St. Louis, and the Cubs. Houston's record against the Central Division, 48-31. They're in first place. St. Louis, 44-32. They're in second place. The Cubs, 43-33. They're in third place. And Milwaukee, 36-45. So it all falls in order as ZY draws a walk. But you have to win in your division. If you win in your division, you'll be right in the thick of things come postseason time.
And when you look at the Cubs record against the Cardinals, 9-8. You look at the Cubs record against Houston, 7-9. So 1 game under 500 against the top 2 teams in the division. You look at the Cubs record against Milwaukee, though, and that's where you say that's where the Cubs divisional problems took place. Cubs were 8-9 against the Brewers.
When everybody else was handling the Brewers very easily.
Cardinals 8-3 against Milwaukee. Houston 12-5 against them. So that's all grist for the mill now. But when you have 3 teams that were as closely matched in the divisional race, that's the one team for the Cubs that proved to be their real nemesis this year. No balls and a strike to Ricky Gutierrez. 2 men on, 1 man out with Sosa waiting on deck. Ricky keeps meeting the baseball. He's fouled the ball off his forearm, off his leg.
He's going to need a full body armor at the plate. Ricky continuing here. That's off the right foot. I'll tell you what, you get into a fight with Ricky, just stand back. He's going to beat his own self up.
Don Baylor pops out. Wonder if Ricky will be able to continue. Not sure where that ball got him on the foot, either the foot, the instep, or the ankle. And Joe, as you know, there is very little protection in that area of the uniform.
Well, there is absolutely none, and it looked like it got him on the left instep of his left foot. And there's nothing more painful than falling a ball off your foot, especially if the weather's a little bit chilly outside, a little nippy. Call the dog pound because your feet are marking.
Cubs are hoping that the Astros fans will have a shoulder to cry on at the end of this day, as we're tied at 3 and the Cardinals are winning handily at home over the Pirates. No balls, 2 strikes to Gutierrez. Chopper towards short, might be 2. Second base 1. Biggio off the back quickly. What a turn by Biggio. Eric Young did everything he could to get Biggio, but it was like nailing Jello to the wall. He was gone by the time Young got to the bag, and the inning comes to an end. Watch this great elusive move by Biggio. Well, Joe, how many times do you see a second baseman be within 10 feet of the second base bag to start a double play and lead off the next inning?
Well, Chip, it's the old somewhere in the vicinity play, as watch Vizcaino tosses the ball to Biggio, and look where he catches the ball. I mean, he's a good 7 to 10 feet off the bag. That's the old phantom double play ball, as Mark Barron would call it. Second base umpire. I think his bat needs a little bit more pine tar. What do you think? If he drops in the dirt, it's going to come with 10 pounds of dirt. And the thing, one thing you don't realize, when you have that much pine tar, as much as the dirt accumulates on the bat, it begins to weigh a little bit more. So it started out 32 ounces, probably weighs about 40 ounces right now. That's not your good housekeeping seal right there.
He's got pine tar all over himself. Left shoulder, right shoulder. I mean, he's the Lester Hayes of Major League Baseball.
Exactly. Fred Bolitnikoff.
I'll have to pardon the pun. He sure can pick it at second base. A leadoff walk here in the Astros half of the 6th inning, and that's never good news with their big poppers coming up. 1 on, none out for Vizcaino. A 2-hit, 1 RBI, 1 walk day for the former Cub. As we will say adios to the Astros at the end of today's play. And I'd give the shirt off my back to see the Cubs send these guys back home with a loss.
I think that guy just took your shirt. Is that your hat too?
The hat's way too classy for me.
I'll tell you what, now all you need is Sony to come through and get you that computer, and you'll be in like Flint. Hey, if I'm Sony, I give you a computer.
Correa's walked 6 men. That's season high walk total for Jason. The Cub bullpen has lefty-righty action down the left field line. 1-0 pitch to Vizcaino. The bunt try popped up, no play. So we'll do it again. 1 ball, 1 strike. 7th inning stretch in St. Louis. Cardinals are on their way to what appears to be a victory today. If St. Louis wins their ball game, for the Cardinals, that would be their 90th of the year. Meaning the Cubs would have to win out just to have a chance to tie them for the wild card. 1-1 pitch. The other side of that is the Cardinals would have to lose all 6. They play Milwaukee 3, then they play Houston 3.
You know, Chip, regardless of what happens, whether the Cubs make the playoffs or not, you have to look back at what happened last year. 97 losses and where they're at this year, and you have to go away with some great feelings about what Don Baylor, Andy McPhail, Jim Henry has done to put this ball club together. And this is not just a one-year wonder. This is something they want to do for the next 4, 5, 6 years from here on out. Play and have pennant fever every single year here on the north side of town.
2 balls and a strike to Vizcaino. And you're right about that. The only exception to it is when you lead your division by as many as 6 games for 2.5 months and then are unable to hold on to that lead and see a 14 or 15 game swing in the divisional race in a negative way, that does leave a sour taste in your mouth to a certain degree. But I would also tell you that Biggio runs and the pitch is high. The Huntley throw skips into center field. And Biggio's going to hold on at second base. It's a steal for him, his 7th of the year. If you had said to Cubs fans everywhere, look, you've got 84 wins into the final week and a half of play, and you've got a chance to win the wild card, would you take it? An honest answer would have been yes for just about everybody.
You're absolutely right. And that's what they are trying to do here. And what the players can do in the offseason, they go home and realize how close they were to getting to postseason action. And when you see the playoffs on TV,
there's the bunt, and it's perfect. Vizcaino sacrifices Biggio to third. Go ahead, run 90 feet away with only 1 man out. Bagwell is up with Berkman on deck.
When you see the playoffs on TV, you realize how close you are, and that makes you work a little bit harder in the offseason. So if the Cubs can take something away from that, that's what they can take away.
So Jason Beret goes 5 innings and 1/3 today. He's given up 3 runs so far. Jason walked 6, and 1 of those intentional. 4 strikeouts, 94 pitches, and 6 Jason Beret hits allowed today. Nice round of applause for Beret as he departs in a tie game. We'll see if Julian Tavares can keep Bagwell under wraps as the Houstons try to take a 1-run lead in the 6th. Beautiful sunny day here in Chicago, and the Astros trying to rain on the parade. They've got the go-ahead run 90 feet away against Julian Tavares, and Jeff Bagwell will be the man that faces Julian. Career high in innings pitched for the Cub right-hander, who did such a good job in a starting assignment in the first half of the season. Cubs really don't know what they've got in Tavares. Is he a starter? Is he a reliever? With the infield in, Bagwell jumps all over that and fouls it away. Julian has said he'd really prefer to start, and if he doesn't get a starting chance here, he would welcome a trade to another team that would put him in the starting rotation. And Joe, you've got to figure that really for the first time in almost a generation, the Cubs are going to have intense competition for one of those 5 available starting spots in spring training next year.
Well, every manager would tell you they love to have competition in spring training, because the guys know the offseason when you got a guy like a Carlos Zambrano or Juan Cruz, guys. And also with Mark Pryor, he will have a chance to come up next year. He'll be in big league camp. So with those guys coming up, you know jobs are few and far in between. And you got to come ready to pitch, and you got to come ready and in shape. And Julian Tavares had a pretty good year this year. First half as a starter, and like you said, a lot of innings pitched. And he's at his career high, but now banished to the bullpen. But he wants to start, and I think he has deserved that so far.
Boy, Bagwell reacted late to that ball. Not surprising. As you see the shadows getting closer and closer to covering that batter's box. Boy, dangerous play for Bagwell, and he just did get out of the way.
Well, that little circle just about to come across home plate. It doesn't get batted until it gets about halfway out to the pitcher's mound when the ball comes in from the shadows. And beware of the phantom, because only the shadow knows.
Our exclusive WGN shadow cam on display today. The pitch, swing and a line drive right center field. Corey makes the catch. Tagging from third is Biggio. He's going to come home and score the tie-breaking run. So Beret closed the book on him. 4 earned runs in 5 innings and a third, or make it 4 runs, 3 of them earned. But Houston has the 4-3 lead as Bagwell drives home his 126th man of the year.
You know, a play that looks so easy but is always very tough. The sacrifice fly, and a lot of hitters, especially this year, not getting the job done, driving into guys from third base less than 2 outs. But Jeff Bagwell, professional hitter, he takes what the opposition gives him. Had 2 strikes. Julian Tavares leaves it out over the plate. Bagwell doing the job, driving in the go-ahead run right now.
So 6 walks by Beret. Only 1 of them scores. But the error in that 3rd inning, finally Houston able to take their first lead of the afternoon. Berkman hits a high fly ball center field. Patterson makes the play, and that does it for the Astros. Leadoff walks in the middle to late innings oftentimes prove fatal. We'll see if the one to Biggio proves to be so for the Cubs, who trail now 4-3 in the 6th.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi, the joy of Pepsi.
Well, no better man than Sammy Sosa to get this game back to even. He'll lead things off in the 6th inning, still sitting on 59 home runs. Is the slugging Cub right fielder Sammy Sosa. They're all here to see him make history, trying to become the first man in history to have 3 60 home run seasons in Major League Baseball. Barry Bonds will try to get 70. A bit later on, he'll face Brian Tolberg of San Diego. Bonds sitting on 69. Sosa 10 behind with 59. Luis Gonzalez with 55. And again, the most amazing thing, Sosa's quite probably going to have 3 60 home run seasons, and the only time he won the home run title is when he hit 50.
Well, that tells you about the competition, and it's all about timing. I guarantee you, Sammy wouldn't trade any of those years of home runs. The years he have put together. And to put things in perspective, Hank Aaron in 22 seasons, 755 home runs. If Sammy continues the pace of 60 home runs, I mean, it would have taken him 12.5 years to amaze 755 home runs. I mean, that would have cut 10 years off. So that shows you, in retrospect, how awesome is what Sammy has been doing.
2 balls and a strike. And again, go back and ask the question that I posed earlier. Is Sammy Sosa the best player in Major League Baseball right now? I think if you look at it as an overall player, maybe not the best defensive outfielder, but when you put the whole package together, he's got to be seriously considered for that honor. As he goes down swinging in the 6th inning, that's 6 strikeouts for Miller. But look at the offensive numbers in the National League for Sosa. 10th in hitting, 2nd in homers, 1st in RBIs, 1st in runs, 8th in hits, 2nd in total bases, 2nd in walks, 4th in on-base percentage, 2nd in slugging percentage, 3rd in extra base hits. I mean, the man's done everything offensively you can possibly do on a team that, for the most part, has seen such a great disparity between his numbers and everyone else's that it's really almost been a one-man offensive attack all year.
Well, Chip, no one can argue with you about the prospect of Sammy being one of the best players in all of baseball, if not the best. Like you say, the numbers will speak for themselves. And that's what's so good about baseball. I mean, you could have these arguments or discussions throughout baseball, and a lot of names will come up. Guys like Barry Bonds, guys like Alex Rodriguez, and now you throw in a Ichiro, his first full season as a rookie, which I don't think he should be considered a rookie. I mean, I think he's as old as you, but he is considered a rookie. It just goes to show you, baseball is doing so well, and that's why they can ill afford to have a work stoppage. There is no way they can have one.
Griff broke his bat, pops it up. Long run at 3rd for Castilla. No room. As our WGN cameras are strategically placed to disallow the 3rd baseman's attempt to catch that pop fly. And you're right about Ichiro. He's having one of the best seasons ever for any first-year player. 234 hits as a rookie, or in about 13 years he'll get to 3,000 at that pace. He's also got 50 stolen bases.
You're talking about a cannon from right field, fundamentally sound.
Griff goes down swinging. That's 7 strikeouts for Miller. Did Tuffy Rhodes break the home run record yet in Japan?
I don't think he has. He's tied the record 55 with Sadahara. Right now, Wade Miller, he's come back from that 1st inning beating that he took on a line drive by Eric Young, and maybe the Cubs are wishing they would have knocked him out of the ball game.
Rondell White, I really think, and Joe, you've been in Wrigley Field at a time like this, the advantage really goes to the pitcher here. It may seem like a subtle thing, but you're standing in that batter's box with those shadows, and that baseball comes out of the bright sunshine. That's got to be a tough optical adjustment.
Well, it is, and also to make it go one step further, if you look on the left of Rondell White and the right, you see the flags moving also. So out of your peripheral vision, you see movement, and so you're looking at the flags moving back and forth. Top that with all the white shirts in the outfield, and Wrigley Field can be a very tough place in the daytime, especially with the shadows protruding past home plate.
Four straight bad ones to White. They might have pitched around him to take their chances with Todd Hundley. Third walk for Miller here. Larry Durker would love him to get through 6. And then he can mix and match with that bullpen if he so desires. You don't want to be trailing these guys after 7, for then you've got Dotel and Wagner to worry about.
Close the door.
Don Baylor pondering his lineup card in the Cub dugout. And Hundley, 0 for 2 on the day, digs in. Speed fouled away at the plate. Strike 1. Now on the left side of the ballpark,
it's about 40 degrees,
and they're freezing. But in the bleachers,
it's 85 and sunny.
Break out the sunblock. Of course, the wind knocks down, or is knocked down by the bleachers here at the ballpark. Not much wind to speak of as we look at the flags on top of the roof near us. Just a gentle breeze, much more brisk high atop the Wrigley Field scoreboard. Just a glorious Sunday afternoon for baseball.
There's a lot of sailboats out there in good old Lake Michigan.
Missed the corner. 2 balls and a strike. And because we brought you the shadow cam today, our sailboat cam is stranded on Gilligan's Island. 2 balls and a strike. Astros by a run. 2-2. Mets are going to be happy to say goodbye to Brian Jordan. He's hit another big home run for the Braves. Atlanta just got 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. But the Mets lead it 9-6.
Well, you think they're not having deja vu? 2 games that Al Leiter pitched, left with a comfortable lead in the 9th inning, only to see it go away. And last night, 7 runs.
And Jordan had a grand slam in the 9th with 2 strikes, 2 outs to win the game for the Braves. Jordan won a game for Atlanta up in New York to avoid a Mets sweep. And he's trying to lead Atlanta back late at Turner Field. Great race in the East. Braves by just a couple over the Philadelphia Phillies, who have had a marvelous season under Larry Bowa. Todd checks a swing. Phillies will do battle with the Marlins. They're probably playing right now. We'll try to get an update on that. Coggett against Josh Beckett down at Pro Players Stadium. The Indians, with their win over Minnesota today, are again the champions of the American League Central at a 9-1 final. So it's looking like the Indians are going to play Seattle in round 1.
And Chip, that loss last night the Mets had to the Braves, how big was that in retrospect? With 7 games left, they're 5 games out. Had they won that game, they would be only 3 games out with 7 to play. So now their chances are looking very slim in this situation.
Good at bat by Hundley. 3-2 pitch. Tomahawked into right field. White was moving with the play. Cubs will have men at the corners with 2 men out. So Don Baylor sends White on the 3-2 pitch, and Hundley finds the open hole. And the tying run 90 feet away with 2 men out. Good at bat by Hundley.
Well, it was a good at bat. An all-speed pitch up and out of the zone. And Todd twirls it down between first and second. The thing about Todd, he stayed alive by fouling off pitch after pitch after pitch. And he finally got something he could handle. Now first and third, and good spot for the youngster Corey Patterson to come through here.
Bullpen gets busy for Houston. They just did get up, and that brings Bert Hooton to the mound. His first visit of the day. Ron Villone is the left-hander, and I believe that's Mike Jackson on the left side of your screen, the Houston right-hander. Astros have a nice luxury. They have 4 men who can close games for them. Jackson, Williams, Dotel, and Billy Wagner.
Well, that's a luxury to have as you take a look at Todd Van Poppel loosened up in the Cub bullpen. And when you play this Astro ball club, because of the depth of their bullpen with Dotel, who throws seems like about 110 miles an hour, and then Billy Wagner comes in after that. It's a 6-7 in the ball game. You don't want to be behind.
Well, Barry Bonds has made history for San Francisco.
And what could that possibly be?
He walked for the 166th time. That's a new national and major league record. Walks in a single season.
You were going to say that.
That was in the first inning against Brian Tolbert. Todd Hundley lifted for a pinch runner. Chad Myers will come on now. And now Corey Patterson, a lefty-righty matchup here in the 6th inning. Again, the big story will be if Bonds hits number 70 today for the Giants. Chad probably happy as Patterson stands in that he doesn't have to pinch hit, because every time he pinch hits, he gets hit. He got plunked again yesterday. In fact, Myers has been hit by pitches 3 times in 13 games.
Well, he won't get any sympathy from the manager, Don Baylor. Said, hey, it's part of the game. And nobody got hit more in baseball than the skipper, Don Baylor.
And on deck, Matt Stairs gets ready for the Cubs if Patterson can keep the frame alive. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that's outside. Ball 2. If Miller loses Patterson, you've got to figure Villone for Stairs, and then let's see if the Cubs would go to their bench again. They have Girardi and Machado available from the right side against the left-handed pitcher. They've already taken Hundley down. Two balls, 2 strikes. Colorado got 8 runs in the 3rd inning over Milwaukee. They've added 2 more in the 4th. They lead the Brewers 10-0 at Coors Field. Todd Helton with 100 extra base hits in back-to-back seasons for Colorado. Off the thumbs of Patterson.
Now, wasn't Todd Helton a quarterback at the University of Tennessee?
Yes, he was, Joe, but the serious thrashing that the Georgia Bulldogs gave him convinced him to play Major League Baseball.
I knew we had to find Georgia in there somewhere. You always got Georgia on your mind.
Runner at first goes, and Patterson couldn't stop himself. Check swing, and back to first will go Myers.
Speaking of college football, how about the Wildcats yesterday? Northwestern.
Yeah, great game.
They pulled out one you could not possibly believe. In fact, if you didn't see it, you still wouldn't believe it.
That was a great game. The Kansas State-Oklahoma game was a thriller.
38-37.
Illinois had a tough time at Michigan yesterday. Talk about one play turning the tide. 4th and inches didn't work. Next play, Michigan scored, and that was it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at the corners for the Cubs, 2 outs. Striking out, and the inning is over. Miller strikes out the side in the 6th, and he's protecting a 1-run lead as we head to the top of the 7th. (4-3) is our score. We head to our 7th inning of play. Houston with a 1-run lead. Joe Girardi's into the game. He's behind the plate. And Octavio Dotel is getting loose in the Astros bullpen. Here in the 7th, Richard Hidalgo will go to work first. He's 1 for 2, a single, a stolen base. He's also walked on the afternoon. Houston trying to take a 2-game lead back home to Houston to open up a series with the Giants starting Tuesday. Cardinals are still beating the Pirates 7-3. That in the 8th inning to the running Redbirds. A Cardinal win today makes it real tough for the Cubs, especially if the Cubs lose this one. You'd be 6 back with 6 to play in the wild card with 2 teams to catch, and that's very unlikely. In fact, it's impossible because the Astros are going to play the Giants next, so it's pretty much win and live to fight another day. Lose and you think about 2002. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hidalgo. Chopped towards short. Ricky surrounds it. 1 out. $38,438 the attendance. And the Cubs firing the ball around the infield. It got away from Eric Young and trickled into short right. Cubs having a little trouble catching the baseball today. Here's Castilla. Vinny 1 for 3 with a run scored. Houston 4, Cubs 3.
It even happened to the big leaguers. It seemed like a hot potato out there at times. Sometimes it's very tough to keep your eye on the bouncing ball.
Last chance for Atlanta. They come to the plate in the 9th inning. Who's going to close it out for the Mets? Both Benitez and John Franco have had real problems against Atlanta. Braves win that one. They deserve to win that division the way they've come back the last couple of times out there.
Well, John Franco just called it a stupid pitch. He threw him a 2-strike fastball up in his eyes, and Brian Jordan leveled it for a grand slam. John Franco known for that screwball he has, but changeup didn't throw it. So you can always second guess yourself, but it seems like the Mets are snake bitten down there in Turner Field.
2-1 to Castilla. 2-2. And speaking of closers, we wish former Cub closer Rod Beck and his whole family the best. Bad news for Rod Beck. Announced moments ago he's going to have Tommy John surgery on his right elbow. It's going to sideline him a couple of years. Boy, Rod Beck had one of the most amazing seasons ever in 1998, saving 50+ games for the Cubs. And then he got injured in 1999, and the Cubs did not have a winning season that year, last year, until this year. So, Shooter, all of us are thinking about you. Hope you get better soon and hope you can make a comeback to the major leagues. He's good people.
Yeah, throughout his career, 266 career saves, so he's 34 short of 300. With Tommy John surgery, you take a year and a half, 2 off, he can come back throwing about 100 miles an hour. So everybody else does. So that's what he has. He can look forward to. I don't know if it's a good thing to have a surgery named after you, is it?
I think people would feel a whole lot better if it was the Kerry Wood surgery.
Yeah, Nolan Ryan surgery. Yeah, Tommy John. Okay.
2 balls, no strikes to Darrell Ward. Ward with an RBI single today. He's also scored 1 of the 4 Houston runs on the afternoon. He's got another hit. This one into right field. 2 in a row allowed by Julian Tabarez. Sosa throws back to second, holds Castilla there. 2 on, 1 out for the Astro catcher Brad Ausmus. No luxury of pitching around this guy now, not with Dotel up in the Astro bullpen, and you've got to figure a pinch hitter coming up, and you've got to figure if it's anybody, it's going to be Merced. And just now, Mayhey's getting up in the Cub pen, although he was warming a little bit earlier.
almost bet the whole farm that it would be Orlando Merced to come out of the dugout.
No sign of a man on deck yet. Got to get somebody out there. That's a Major League Baseball rule. Maybe it's going to be Moises Alou. Maybe they'll give him a swing before the off day tomorrow and get him ready, hopefully, for that Giants series. And it's a final. The Mets beat Atlanta 9-6. So the door's open for the Phillies to move to within a game of Atlanta. They've got a big series coming up at Turner Field, too. And it is going to be Orlando Merced.
I get to keep my farm. Moises Alou was looking for his batting helmet and gloves, and this maybe took too much of time, and Larry Durker decided to put Merced out there, and now Oscar Acosta taking a little time.
And this is a very simple move. Give Mayhay his
chance to warm up.
Much time as he needs to get loose, because he's going to be in the game unless Ausmus grounds into a double play. Big crowd, over 38,000 on hand at Wrigley Field today. The Cubs continue to be very grateful for just wonderful fan support this year. With the crowd today, the Cubs go over 2.6 million in attendance with 6 more home dates left.
You know, Chip, if you have never watched a game from Wrigley Field, you are missing undoubtedly the greatest ballpark there is.
Hey, what a catch by one of the fans sitting in the first row behind the aisle.
And she accepts congratulations, but she's got the wrong hat on.
Yeah, Houston fan. What's up with that? Terrific catch, though, huh? 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brad Ausmus just became her favorite player. And she's caught 1 more fouls than Joe Carter has all year. The pitch to the Houston catcher is right down the middle. Don't know what he was looking for, but he just took strike 3. 2 outs. And let's see if Merced is called back here. Apparently he will be.
Well, Julian Tavares with that, not a backdoor slider, but a front door slider as he drops down on Brad Ausmus and ties up Brad. Ball didn't break as much as Ausmus thought it would, still on the inside part of the plate.
And so Moises Alou instead of Merced here. Alou's been out the last 4 or 5 games with a calf problem.
Well, when we saw the calf problem that Ron Coomer had early in the season, and when you're making that motion is running, you're going to give Alou a couple of bats just to get him back in the swing of things in case he is needed in that St. Louis series.
So Miller goes 6 innings, 3 runs, none of them earned. The Vizcaino error, the big blow, and now Glenn Barker is going to pinch run at first base for Ward, and he'll stay in the ball game and play the outfield. So the Astros looking for a little more comfortable margin here, leading by a run, 2 on, 2 out. Top half of the 7th inning. Cubs will look at Octavio Dotel in the bottom half of the frame. Hopefully with the score as it is now, 4-3 Houston. Tavares ready. Alou is too. And the pitch is rifled into right field. Long run Sosa. He's not going to get there. That's going to score Castilla. Barker's around third. He's going to come home to score. Alou jumps on the first pitch from Tavares. Bloops a base hit into right field. That drives home 2, and the Astros lead it by a 6-3 score.
Well, Moises Alou does the job, although he could not run very well. Takes Julian Tavares' first pitch, just dumps it down the right field line. Saw Girardi trying to set up inside. Julian not hitting his target, and they didn't have him played that way. Castillo scores, and Glenn Barker all the way from first base. And he's been sitting down for a while. He does not break stride. Sammy misses the cutoff man, and Barker scores easily.
So Adam Everett will pinch run at first for Alou. His calf feels very good, thank you very little. 6-3, Houston in the lead now with the 9th Astro hit. Biggio scored twice. He is 1 for 3 on the day. Houston about to eliminate the Cubs, it would appear. Breaking ball inside corner, strike to Biggio.
You can only hold down this Astro offense for so long.
Hey, even the scoreboard guys
off a little bit.
Yeah, that's the first time I think we've seen that in a long time. Ground ball to second, and that's going to do it. Houston adds to their lead. 6-3 is the final score. Let's join Wayne Messmer with Chicago's very own everyday heroes representing the Chicago Police Department as they celebrate God Bless America.
Chicago Police Department. Let's show the USA how we feel. We have 6 of Chicago's finest and a standing room only crowd of the finest fans in baseball. Let's sing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Let me hear ya! From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
Changes for the Astros. Richard Hidalgo moves from center field to right field. Glenn Barker stays in the game. He roams center pasture. And the Cubs, Joe, have their hands full. One of the best setup men in baseball. A man that served as the closer when Billy Wagner hurt his elbow last year. Octavio Dotel.
Boy, you talking about some great stuff. He has a commanding fastball in the middle 90s. He can reach it 97, 98 miles per hour. And he's limited the opposition to a 202 batting average. This young man forms a very formidable 1-2 punch with Billy Wagner. And when you get to these guys in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, you can basically close the door.
Well, the Cubs have other ideas, but big problems have brewed. 6-3. Cubs got 3 in the first and have only 2 hits since then. Delino to Shields leads off. Then you'll have Matt Stairs batting in Julian Tavares' spot, and then the top of the Cub order in this 7th inning. Houston trying to remain 2 games in front of the Cardinals. Pirates are still batting in the 9th inning, trailing in St. Louis. Mets beat Atlanta 9-6. Cincinnati on their way to town now. They beat Montreal 5-4 today. Two balls, no strikes to DeShields. His job, get on anyhow, any way you can. And trying to put together a big inning for the Cubs. Astros' magic number in the Central for the title is 6. Meaning any combination of Houston wins and Cardinal losses that add up to 6, and they are the champions. And it is a final. St. Louis wins 7-3 over Pittsburgh. They sweep the Pirates.
St. Louis doing exactly what they have to do, especially win at home. They're now 53-26. Back at Busch Stadium. 27 games over 500. And out of that last 3 games of the season, whether they're divisional champs or the wild card champs, Tony La Russa has got the guys playing great baseball.
And really, when you think about it, that's what championship teams do. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. And when the Cubs went to Pittsburgh and played so poorly those first 2 games, how big would those 2 games be if they were in the win column instead of the loss column for the Cubs right now, especially considering whom the Cardinals were playing, this Houston ball club.
Well, you know, the just completed 9-game road trip, the Cubs should have been 7-2. But they lose the first game to Cincinnati on a 2-out pinch hit single. It scores 2 runs. They win 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati, lose 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh, and 2 out of 3 in Houston. So what could have been a great road trip all of a sudden turned into their worst nightmare.
And Dotel trying to throw the ball right through Brad Ausmus. And the Houston catcher out to settle him down. 1 man on, nobody out. Cubs trying to spoil the Astro Express. Still a lot of time left in this game, but the Houstons have the best bullpen in the National League. And the Cubs are down 3 runs. Outside, ball 2. Dotel missing frequently here in his first inning of work. And with that in mind, the Astro bullpen gets busy. Mike Jackson is up. Good hitter's pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Right-hander sets and the runner goes. Pitch cut on line in right field, base hit. DeShields on his way to third. They're going to wave him around. He's going to score. It's a standing double for Stairs and a 6-4 game.
Well, Matt Stairs got a good count. Looked for the fastball, got the fastball. And he delivered Delino DeShields off from running on the play.
I wonder if Delino touched third base.
You know what? It looked awful close. Take a look at Delino as he tried to touch the inside corner of the bag.
Let's see it from this angle. Can't tell with the mound in the way. But when he first went around the bag, I thought he missed it. Vinny Castilla wasn't looking at the bag to see if he made the proper touch. No appeal by the Astros. And the big crowd cheering on the Cubs now as the tying run comes to the plate in the form of Eric Young. Gotta figure the Cardinals and their fans are watching on the big board at Busch Stadium right now, hoping that the Cubs can be the Cardinals and their own best friend. Houston leads it 6-4 now with 1 on, 1 in, and nobody out in the 7th.
Well, with the top of the lineup coming up, and Eric Young, Gutierrez, and Sosa, EY on the night afternoon.
And now they are going to appeal at third base.
And if Bruce Brennan was watching, it's going to be awful close.
Now watch, Dotel will step off and make the throw over. And he did apparently touch third base. Nothing to lose if you're Houston. But from our angle up here, it looked very, very close.
Too close for comfort, really.
You bet. So the 4th run does count. And Young digs in. 2 hits and a walk, a run scored for the Cub leadoff man. Ground ball to the shortstop. Won't get Stairs to third. one man away. Not what Young was looking for in that situation. Ricky Gutierrez will hit.
Well, Ewald was looking for a fastball. He got crossed up, and Dotel throws him a breaking ball. Gets him to roll over into the 6-3.
Well, that spot, you got to get the ball hit to the right side of the infield and get Stairs to third base. But Young can't do it. Let's see if Ricky can drive him home himself.
Well, one of the toughest pitch to hit to the right side would be the breaking ball inside, especially when you throw the ball 94, 95 miles per hour.
So it begs the question, if you get it, why do you swing at it?
Well, that's why
he's down
play
there
the game.
That's right.
You tell yourself you want to look for the fastball out of the plate to drive to the right side. He throws you a breaking ball, and you swing. And you're like, why did I do that?
Whoa, what a shot taken by Osmus.
I tell you what, Ricky Gutierrez is just beating up everybody. If he's not fouling balls off his leg, he's fouling it off the catcher, and feel that. And then if Ricky's not fouling off the catcher's face mask, he's throwing the bat into the stands. So pay attention when Ricky Gutierrez is hitting.
Big lead by Stairs at second, 1-1 count. Patel struggling with his command here in the 7th inning. Giants lead San Diego 2-0. Barry Bonds made history if you missed it. He walked for the 166th time, his first time up. Nearly hit him, and how he got out of the way of that, I'll never know. 3-1 your count. And he's been pretty consistent, Joe. He's missing on that part of the batter's box in this 7th inning.
Well, you very rarely see Dotel not have command like he has this evening or afternoon. He cannot find the strike zone, and when he does,
and he's walked the tying run in front of Sosa. So wouldn't this be a sweet spot for number 60 for Sammy? Not only would it be historic, it would also put the Cubs in front. And Larry Dierker has seen enough of Octavio Dotel, who had very little today. 2 walks, a double, a run in, and Dotel is done. Mike Jackson's coming in. So don't go anywhere, folks. Cubs still very much alive today. Tying runs are on in the 7th inning. Back in a moment. Baseball fans everywhere are cheering for Sammy Sosa. He represents the go-ahead run in the 7th. Mike Jackson's first pitch is cut on and missed. Steve right one to Sosa. Sammy reached on an air and has struck out twice.
Mike Jackson, pretty good fastball, but his bread and butter pitch is that wicked slider. He will throw right at the hands, right at the body of a right-handed hitter. And he throws it in the high 80s to low 90s. Right now, the stage is set. Slamming Sammy Sosa.
He's down in the count, 1 strike, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Boy, Jackson looks like he's tough to pick up. He hides the ball real well.
Well, he does hide it very well, and he will throw you a great slider. Just like he threw that one to Sammy, and that was not his best one. You see the numbers are very favorable for Mike Jackson against Sammy Sosa. Sammy only hitting 118. But all that does not matter right here.
0-2 to Sammy. Ron Villone getting busy in the Astro bullpen with Fred McGriff waiting on deck. Cubs do have Michael Tucker and Roosevelt Brown from the left side. They also have Bill Miller, who is scratched from the starting lineup. And the fans outside Wrigley Field hoping to catch a slice of history today. The 1-2. Just got a piece, and Sammy lives to swing again here. No man in the history of Major League Baseball has hit 60 home runs in 3 separate seasons.
Just a phenomenal feat. Sammy on the verge of that. He's sitting on 59. Come on, Sammy.
So 1-2. Pops away. A base hit could tie the game now. That changes the at-bat dramatically. First base opens up. Count 2-2 to Sosa.
Well, Mike Jackson trying to throw that real good slider here. And he just holds on to it a little bit too long. And it gets past Brad Osmus. That's a pitcher trying to make that perfect pitch. He doesn't want to hang the breaking ball, and that is his bread and butter. Doesn't want to give it to Sammy inside. Trying to stay away.
Sammy has hit 11 home runs against Astro pitching this year. He hit 12 against Milwaukee in 1998, you'll recall. And Jackson with a runner at second now. In the form of Ricky Gutierrez, wants to make sure he's got the right sign for this pitch sequence. The 2-2. Outside, it's full 3-2. If you were wondering, the Major League single-year mark for homers against one team is 14. Lou Gehrig hit 14 home runs against the Cleveland Indians in 1936. The National League mark is 13. The Cubs' Hank Sauer did that against the Pirates in 1954. And Joe Adcock of the Braves did that to Brooklyn in 56. Payoff pitch. Swing and a fly ball left center field. Playable for Parker. There's the catch. Tagging from third is Stairs. He will score to make it a one-run game. 6-5. Sosa drives in, number 149.
Well, Sammy didn't get the results he wanted, but at least he got the job done with the sacrifice fly. 2 strikes, and Mike Jackson very tough on Sammy. And here he goes right back with the breaking ball, and then Barker playing center field makes a very auspicious throw as he slips. Bagwell able to cut the ball off.
And so now with Ricky Gutierrez at second base, 2 men out, Larry Dierker will, at the very least, tell Jackson to pitch very carefully to Fred McGriff. You've got Rondell White in the on-deck circle, and they're not going to even think about pitching carefully. They're going to go ahead and put him on, which you have to do.
Dierker going by the book. Former Astro pitcher. Said I'd rather take my chances with Rondell White. Rondell already with a 2-run homer in the first inning. Swinging a very hot bat as he's 1 for 2 with the 2-run homer, a run scored, and a walk.
So 4 wide ones puts McGriff at first. The Astros have been walking the world today. That's 6 walks they've given up. Same story for the Cubs. Jason Beret walked 6.
Well, going back to yesterday, Rondell White unloads on Dave Malicki. The left center field gapping. I know Cub fans and Cardinals fans would love to see him do it right here.
Missed the corner inside. Girardi waits on deck. Villone ready in the pen if need be. 1 ball, no strikes. Cubs have come back to within a run. 6-5 the pitch. Swing, little flare over short. It's going to drop for a hit. Berkman up. Ricky's going to score. And the Cubs have tied the game.
Larry Dierker and the Astros roll the dice by walking Fred McGriff, and Rondell White makes them pay as he loops the ball into left field. Ricky with the tie and run. The thing is, Mike Jackson went with the fastball both times inside. Rondell strong enough to fight it off. Drops it in front of Lance Berkman, and Ricky was off and running.
3-run score off Dotel in the 7th inning. The game is tied at 6. And Ricky with a perfect slide. No chance to get him. Now Joe Girardi a chance to put the Cubs in front. And a slider strike. If the Cubs win this game, the Astros will limp home with a 1-game lead in the Central, and the San Francisco Giants awaiting them.
And that is not going to be an easy task.
Good cut by Joe. It's fouled back, 2 strikes. Todd Van Poppel is up in the Cub pen. He will come on to face the Stros in the 8th, but they will have Vizcaino, Bagwell, and Berkman coming up. Houston led this one handily. They've let it slip through their fingers here in the 7th inning.
It's because of the wildness of Otavio Dotel. You normally don't see that. He usually has great command.
That's over the outside corner. Slider strikes out Girardi. Cubs, though, tie the game. They get 3 off one of the best in the business, Otavio Dotel. 6-6 after 7 as the Cubs try to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Good ball game. Delino DeShields is in to play third base for the Cubs, and Todd Van Poppel is on to pitch. Tough assignment in the 8th inning. Vizcaino, Bagwell, and Berkman, as the Cubs have rallied to tie the game at 6. That makes Cub fans happy. Boy, you bet the Cardinal fans are dancing in the streets as well. But still a lot of baseball to be played today. Ball 2, strike 1 to Jose Vizcaino, who's 2 for 2 with an RBI today. He's also walked and sacrificed. Rocket shot into right field. Sosa plays it safely and wisely. Vizcaino, a big turn, will stop at first, throw back, but he's back standing up. Leadoff single in the 8th inning.
Jose Vizcaino, his 3rd hit of the afternoon. And now you get down to the boys you don't want to face.
Hey, Joe, I know you're a sucker for a good game, aren't you?
I just can't wait to hop on one.
Well, let's pacify these Astros and send them home unhappy. Losers of 3 out of 4. Jeff Bagwell in the batter's box. Bagwell has walked twice, bounced into a force play, and hit a sac fly. And that's downstairs. Ball 1. Cardinals were winners earlier if you're just joining us. Mets beat Atlanta 9-6. Here it's 6-6 in the 8th inning. Late swing, 1 ball, 1 strike. American League Finals. Boston beat Detroit 8-5. Toronto over Tampa Bay 6-5. Cleveland wins the Central, beating Minnesota 9-1. And the White Sox subdued Kansas City 5-2. How about a double play ball from Bagwell here? That would be nice. Slider strike, 1-2.
A good pitch there by Todd Van Poppel. He paints the outside corner. Ron Mayhay.
Bagwell is the good man for 2. He's hitting 19 double plays this year. That missed inside. And evens up the count.
Hey, and Chiasson warming up in the Cub bullpen. Right now you're looking for a 2-2 ground ball double play.
Or a strikeout. Bagwell goes down swinging, 1 away. Lance Berkman to hit. Let's pause for station identification.
This is WGN Superstation.
Todd Van Poppel gets a very tough Jeff Bagwell. A sinking fastball down in the zone, and it brings out Don Baylor. Lance Berkman scheduled to hit.
Well, Berkman
bringing Mayhay to
flip him around.
Yeah, exactly.
less dangerous from the right side than he is from the left. Not surprising with the preponderance of right-handed pitchers in the Central Division. And look at Todd Van Poppel. He's doing his best Perry Mason impersonation. He's trying to find a way to stay in the game. No such luck. But I'll tell you what, Todd's had a terrific year for the Cubs. Vizcaino greets him with a single. Van Poppel strikes out Bagwell. And now it will be Mayhay to face Berkman, who will hit right-handed for the first time today. Back with this confrontation when we return momentarily. Fine year for Todd Van Poppel of the Cubs, a .264 earned run average. He has 86 strikeouts in 72 innings this year, part of that record-setting Cub bullpen, which owns the single season mark for most staff strikeouts in one campaign. Cubs have struck out 1,287 men. Here's Lance Berkman to face Mayhay. And the bunt. Cubs will give him that all day. Strike one. Berkman, a natural right-hand hitter, but Joe, his swing right-handed looks to me completely different than his southpaw swing.
Well, I mean, he is very comfortable hitting left-handed, and being a natural right-handed hitter, you don't face too many left-handed pitchers in the big leagues. There is a shortage of left-handed pitchers, especially starters. So he's had more swings from the left. He's developed to a great hitter left-handed, and that's why Don Baylor switched him over to the other side where he didn't have as much power. All of his home runs except for one have come from the left side.
And this is his one assignment, get Berkman and then turn things over to Chiasson for Hidalgo and Castilla, who are waiting next in the Astro batting order. Game tied 6-6. Just a great ball game, quite honestly, here in Chicago today. Pitch. Chased a bad ball. 2 outs.
Well, you have to like the fight in the Cubbies, as they will not go down. And Ron Mayhay here gets Lance Berkman on the high fastball. Mayhay coming in, doing the job.
So Don Baylor will play the percentages. Righty, righty, righty. Chiasson on to face Richard Hidalgo here. So Mayhay did his job. We'll see if the rookie right-hander for the Cubs can do the same thing. Chiasson had a spectacular season between AA and AAA. He's had a few problems at the big league level. Let's expound on that when we return in a moment. Joining us after a Pro Football Sunday, you've missed a Super Bowl game. Cubs got 3 in the first inning. Rondell White hit a 2-run homer. Astros came back with 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th to take a big lead. Cubs got 3 in the 7th themselves to tie things at 6. And now Scott Chiasson, the 3rd pitcher of this 8th inning for the Cubs. 1 on, 2 outs. And Richard Hidalgo in the batter's box. And that one skips past Girardi and goes all the way to the backstop. A wild pitch puts the go-ahead run in scoring position. Chiasson, the young right-hander who made his major league debut September 19th in Cincinnati, had a great year at AA and AAA. 24 saves at AA West Tennessee, 10 at AAA Iowa. So 34 saves and a 184 earned run average in 63 appearances. The Cubs obviously are very high on this young man in the bullpen. And he's had some mixed reviews of his first taste of Major League Baseball. The problem for Chiasson has been too many balls in the hitting zone in 4 innings, 5 hits and 2 home runs.
Well, that last pitch to Hidalgo was definitely not in the hitting zone where you want it, way inside, and Hidalgo rips it over the Cub bullpen.
Took a little off, and Hidalgo pops it straight back for strike 2. Looking ahead to the Cubs 8th, Corey Patterson, Delino to Shields, and then we'll see. That's the 7, 8, 9 spot in Don Baylor's lineup card. In the 8th, But Houston has the go-ahead run. Jose Vizcaino at second base with 2 men out. Cubs trying to go to 8-9 against Houston this season. 1-2 pitch. Ball 2, strike 2. Cubs bullpen much improved over last season's. Bullpen with 20 relief wins, a 3.94 earned run average. The 2-2. That hit him. Hidalgo tried to hop out of the way, but no such luck. Chiasson hits him. And now you've got to face the always dangerous Vinny Castilla.
With Chiasson trying to get inside and hold that bat against Richard Hidalgo, and this time it's a little bit too far inside. He comes to fastball. Girardi wants it in, right in the left thigh area. That's not going to hurt too much.
But Castilla might hurt you. 2 more hits today for him. And 2 runs scored for the slugging Astro third baseman. Over but outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Chop toward third. DeShields gives ground, flips to second in time, and Houston is done in the 8th inning. So Van Poppel, Mayhay, and Chiasson do the job in the 8th. Lower third due for the Cubs. 6-6 your score. Next weekend on Saturday, the first 15,000 fans at Wrigley Field will get a Homer Simpson Pez dispenser with candy. Catch all the action. The Cubs will face the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a 3:05 start. Homer Simpson Pez Dispenser Day. It's all brought to you by AT&T Wireless. There are good tickets available. You can get them by phone at 1-800-THE-CUBS, at the Wrigley Field box office, on the internet, or at any Chicagoland Sears or Sears Hardware. Corey Patterson to face Ron Villone in the Cubs 8th. 6-6 is our score. Whoa, up and in, almost hit him. He showed bunt and nearly got hit. Strike 1, as I think that ball tipped the bat.
Well, if this was not a pennant race, you'd think maybe a little retaliation from Hidalgo getting hit.
Patterson asking, hey, why is that a strike? I guess in the umpire's judgment, he offered, and now they've changed it. They say it's ball 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
a serious argument.
Yeah, went on the scoreboard a strike, but it was ball 1. And now ball 2 outside. This was one of the question marks for Corey. How would he fare against left-handed pitching? Hasn't seen a whole lot of it. A few times that he has, Joey's done a respectable job up there against left-handed pitching.
Well, the one thing he has done, he has talked with Fred McGriff. And that's what you do as a youngster. You find guys, both of those guys being left-handed, say, you know, and pick his brain a little bit, see how he faces left-handed, because McGriff hits left-handers very well. The key to hitting a left-handed pitcher is keeping that front shoulder in.
A swinging bunt. That's a fair ball. Osmus, good play. Got Patterson easily. In fact, before that at bat, Corey had 23 at bats, 7 hits against left-handers. That's a 300+ batting average, but it'll go down as he rolls out to open up the Cubs 8th. Delano DeShields bats now.
Right here, Corey hitting the ball off the plate, and Brad Osmus jumps out there because the ball out in fair territory.
So an easy play for the Houston catcher, and now another left-handed bat facing Villone here. Delano DeShields walked in the 7th inning and scored the first run of 3 against Octavio Dotel. That's why we're tied 6-6. Ball 2 high. San Diego beating the Giants 4-2 in the 4th now.
You got Ricky going for 3,000 hits. looking to take over the lead and run scored for the career for Ty Cobb, and then Barry shooting for number 70.
So a lot of marks could fall today at Pac-Bell Park. When Ricky goes to the Hall of Fame, which hat will he wear?
Probably a hat that says Ricky on it.
It's probably the safest bet. 3 balls and a strike. And Ricky today 0 for 3. But it's only the 4th inning, so he'll get several more cracks at San Francisco today. Good hitters count. 3 balls and a strike. 3-2.
You know, if I was a betting man, I would probably bet that when Ricky goes to the Hall of Fame, it would probably be as the Oakland A's. Hometown boy.
Good bet.
It could be the Yankees.
Toronto, the Padres. Shields stays alive, 3-2. Colorado blanks Milwaukee 10-0 today. They got 8 runs in the 3rd inning at Coors Field.
To get shut out in Coors Field.
That's tough to do.
Not too many people can do that.
Didn't miss by much, but the go-ahead run is on in the 8th inning. DeShields walks for the 2nd time. He's got great speed, and now Bill Miller will come on to bat for Scott Chiasson. Miller was in the starting lineup, but has some left knee soreness. Could not answer the bell in his starting assignment, but he can pinch hit, obviously. Let's see what he has in mind. The Astro bullpen is busy. Chiasson 1/3 of an inning. 1 hit batsman, 1 wild pitch. Zeros across the line the rest of the way. Now Brad Ausmus out to talk to Villone. Another meeting on the mound. Larry Dierker is on his way out. And while the Astros and Cubs have the battle of wits, let's step aside and tell you what's coming up later on WGN.
A Navy pilot has a crisis of conscience over his involvement in the Vietnam War. Danny Glover, Flight of the Intruder. Friday at 8 Eastern on WGN Superstation.
DeShields aboard with a 1-out walk. Houston goes to the bullpen. We'll tell you who the new pitcher will be when we return in a moment. (6-6). Bill Miller to hit against Mike Williams. Got him from the Pirates, you recall. He's 4-0 with the Astros. Cubs have cuffed him around. DeShields got a great jump. The throw to second, not nearly in time. He was going on the first pitch, and Williams never gave Ausmus a chance.
Well, you're talking about a great stolen base. You're stealing off the pitcher, not off the catcher. Delino DeShields with a tremendous jump. And this play for Brad Ausmus wasn't even close.
And that's why Bill Miller is such a good hitter in that number 2 spot in the batting order. When he was healthy and Eric Young was hitting first, Miller had that instinctive knowledge of when to take a pitch and when to fight a pitch off. And that's something the Cubs will be looking forward to seeing in 2002. Is him healthy and in the lineup every day in that number 2 hole. A hit could put the Cubs in front. 6-6 the score. And ball 2 from Williams to Bill Miller.
And Chip, if you think back to when Bill Miller went down, the Cubs running game was basically shut down after that. So you need a guy in that 2 hole with the ability to hit with 2 strikes, not afraid to take a few pitches, not for the sake of a base runner still in second or third.
2 balls, no strikes to Miller. Ball 3. Eric Young waits on deck. Oh. That grazed the outside corner. 3 balls and a strike. But Miller's smart enough to know who's in trouble. That's Williams. Oh, a strike.
Right here. Williams knows he has to come in with the strike, and Miller be looking out in left center field, see if he can find the hole out there.
The 3-1 pitch. First and second, 1 out for Eric Young. Cubs have handed Williams 2 losses this year, and they've hit him at a 6.23 earned run average this year, combining his numbers with the Pirates and Astros. So now Eric Young is in the batter's box. There's 1 man out. And Juan Cruz is going to come on and pinch run for Bill Miller. Bill's playing on 1 leg right now, so Cruz, who's going to start for the Cubs Tuesday night against Cincinnati, is on to pinch run. His run doesn't mean a whole lot. However, he's got to find a way to break up a double play if Young hits it on the ground at somebody.
Oh, that's what Mike Williams is doing. He was really kind of pitching around Bill Miller, seeing if he could get in the chase, something out of the zone. But if he walked him, it would not be a bad idea because it sets up a double play ball.
Young showed bunt, takes inside, ball 1. That's what the Cubs don't want, is a ground ball at somebody here. Young is at the 15 double plays. He's 2 for 3 with a walk today. A hit could mean a go-ahead run. 1 ball, no strikes. Wow, where'd that miss? 2-0.
Well, it may have been a little bit high, says home plate umpire Jerry Meats. Waiting in the wings. Ricky Gutierrez. Now 2-0. No, Ely gets a good pitch here. He's going to let it go. Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
I'm out. 3-0. Well, I thought the last 2 were pretty good pitches.
A 2-0 breaking ball right here. Brad Osmus. I don't see managers yelling now.
3 balls, no strikes. Bases are loaded for Gutierrez, the former Astro, who said his goal in this series is to make Jerry Hunsaker regret letting him get away. Well, here's a golden opportunity to back it up. 3 straight Astro walks in this 8th inning has loaded him up, and a golden chance for the Cubs to score the go-ahead run.
Well, the Astros give the Cubs their 8th walk of the afternoon. And a lot of jackets coming off as Billy Wagner and Nelson Cruz quickly begin to warm up, and it turned out to be a pretty quick ball game. Has turned to snail's pace here in the last few innings.
Well, the pitching coach is going to have to get a new nickname after today's pitching performance. Bert Hooton is anything but happy with the way his penmen have worked today. Dotel gave up 3 runs in a 1/3 of an inning. Mike Jackson struggled. Ron Villone walked 1 of 2 men he faced. Now Williams comes in, and he's walked 2 straight men. And Bert Hooton, you know, is giving Jerry Meals an earful out on that mound. He thought 2 of those pitches that Williams threw to Young were strikes, and I think the pitching coach does have a point. They look pretty good from our vantage point and on the replay too.
Well, they called 1 ball a little bit up, next ball a little bit down, and I just swung at both of them.
So here's Gutierrez. Ricky today, he struck out, sacrificed. He's hit into a double play, walked and scored. One out, a fly ball. You figure would score to Shields. Inside corner strike. No place to put Gutierrez. And look who's waiting to hit next for the Cubs. 6-6 in the 8th. 3 one-out walks in a row. Has loaded the bases. And the one-strike pitch to Ricky Gutierrez. Swing, fly ball, pretty deep to left. Back goes Buckman at the track, at the wall. He's got it. Tagging and scoring is to Shields, and the Cubs have a 7-6 lead. Gutierrez missed the grand slam by 3 feet.
Well, Ricky wanted Jerry Hunsinger to pay mightily, and he almost did that. But the sacrifice fly gets the job done. And with runners on first and second, now they have to pitch to Sammy. And Williams here is the breaking ball. And it's not a very good pitch when you got the bases loaded to get a ground ball. He throws a breaking ball. That was the easy ball to hit up in the air. And Ricky just missed it.
Here's Sosa. He's got 1 RBI. Strike at the knees. The go-ahead run charged to Ron Villone.
Stay under control. You can't see right now.
Sosa has absolutely owned Mike Williams. Eye-popping numbers. Cubs already have the lead. Sosa sitting on 59. No balls and a strike. Chop toward third. Vinny Castilla gives ground and throws to second to force Eric Young. That does it for the Cubs in the 8th inning, but the go-ahead run comes home. 3 walks and a sac fly makes it 7-6 Cubs as we go to the 9th inning at Wrigley Field. Well, on a bright sunny day, you always want to have your glasses on the bill of the cap, and Michael Tucker takes over in left field for the Cubs. And on to try to close it out is right-hander Kyle Farnsworth. Farnsworth with 3 straight solid innings of scoreless, hitless relief for the Cubs. And he will go through Lugo, Ausmus, and then we'll see for Houston. Astros trail it by a run. If the Cubs hang on and win, Houston heads home with a 1-game lead in the Central Division, for the Cardinals have already won their ball game. So Julio Lugo goes to work first. Ball 1. You got to figure you're going to see Merced hitting third in this inning.
Oh, without a doubt.
He would bat in Mike Williams' spot. So Lugo, then Ausmus, then right in Merced. They've already used Moises Alou, and he's delivered a pinch hit single that scored 2. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lugo.
This is where Don Bailey would love to see Kyle Farnsworth show some of that maturity he has developed this year, and that closes mentality.
All 2 outside. Don't want to issue a leadoff walk. This has been a walk-filled contest. Astros have walked 9 Cubs today. Jason Bure walked 6. The Cubs bullpen hasn't walked anybody. Might have swung at ball 3. Instead, it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Astros go home with a date ahead with the San Francisco Giants and Barry Bonds. They'll play 3 games in San Francisco. Then they close the season in St. Louis. The Cubs will be home for the Reds and Pirates. 2-2. Did he offer? No, he didn't. Ball 3, 3-2.
And it's getting very close down there as Julio Lugo see he's able to hold up. Farnsworth throws the off speed pitch.
3-2. High fly ball lazily hit shallow center. Patterson comes in. Plenty of room. One man down in the ninth. Brad Ausmus stands in. Ausmus today 0 for 3 with a walk. Barry Bonds just walked in the San Francisco fifth. He's 0 for 1 with a pair of free passes. In their game against San Diego, you know, Pac-Bell Park is booing like crazy. They want to see him break the record at home.
Well, he's hitting against a team that he owns as far as home runs are concerned. San Diego Padres. Throughout his career, I believe 63 home runs against the Padres. So it's a big home run. Could happen against the Pods.
Chop towards short. Ricky in, up, clean play. 2 out. And it's Cub killer Orlando Merced representing Larry Dierker's final hope.
Well, Merced came out earlier and went back in as Moises Alou pinch hit with the 2-run single. And now you save Merced for this right here. And after winning the first game of this series, the Astros are 1 out away from a 1-game lead and going home losers of 3 of their last 4.
Merced with 15 pinch hit RBIs, 3 pinch hit home runs. One of those pinch hit home runs against the Cubs. He has 7 pinch hit RBIs against Chicago. And he's their final hope. He's all that stands between Houston and a 2-game lead or a 1-game lead in the Central Division with 6 to play. One ball, no strikes. Biggio on deck. The Cubs want to see him next year at the earliest. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, you take a look at Orlando Merced and the swing he just had. I mean, to be able to sit on the bench for 8.5 innings and then come out and be loose, it takes that special person. And every manager would tell you they'd love to have a guy like Merced on the bench in these situations.
1-1 pitch to Merced. Missed outside by an eyelash. Scott Chiasson and Ron Villone, the pitchers of record. Chiasson could pick up his first major league win. Farnsworth looking for his 2nd major league save. The pitch way outside, ball 3. Another bad one, and you have to face Biggio in the 9th. Don't want to do that. That 27th out is the toughest to get. (3-1). Tried to check it. And now Houston down to their final strike today. Three balls, 2 strikes to Orlando Merced. Bases empty for Houston in the 9th. The pitch. Breaking ball, got it. Strike 3 called, and the Cubs win it. 7-6 the final score. Chiasson the winner, Villone the loser. Farnsworth picks up his first save of the year, 2nd in his career. The Cubs take 3 of 4 from the Astros, and Houston limps home with a 1-game lead in the National League Central. Their pitching is a big problem for them right now. A look at our Bud play of the game. First inning magic again for the Cubs for the 2nd straight ball game. Rondell White hits a first inning home run. He also in the 7th inning drives a single off Mike Jackson to score Ricky Gutierrez. That tied the game, a game the Cubs win with a run in the 8th inning, 7-6, our final score. Hope you enjoyed it. For Joe Carter and our entire crew, Chip Carey inviting you to stay tuned. The 10th inning show is coming up next.